Green, green. Holy moly. Great job! Yeah! This guy. Thank you! Wow! Hell yeah. Woo-hoo! Great job, man!
And we got a crash. Car spinning left and right.
Buddy, let her rip. Rain like hell, baby! Come on! Oh my god, guys! Yes! Yes! Unbelievable! You guys are the best! Yes, 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 yes! Oh, what a year!
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Darian Gilliam, aka Black Flags Matter, back for another edition of the NASCAR weekly podcast. We have our usual panel tonight: Eric Estep and the Iceberg. Danny B is on vacation. He will be back in a couple of weeks. I already see the super chats rolling in. Don't worry, guys. I will read them at the top of the hour. But we are joined by our lovely guests, Chase and Dale from Garage Guys. How's it going?
What's up? What's up? Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us, guys. It's enjoy the show. So we're excited to talk some NASCAR.
Oh, we enjoy your guys' content too. And you guys were recently at the Clash along with Eric Estep. But before we get into that, Eric, you have a special announcement.
Yeah, y'all might have noticed it during that intro, but we do have a new sponsor of the podcast at long last, our friends at Moby. That's right. Moby offers innovative, state-of-the-art men's grooming devices, each serving a variety of functions ranging from trimming and shaving to helping reduce acne and providing youth-boosting skincare benefits. Their all-new dual-system beard trimmer and sonic cleanser keeps your beard tidy and your face clean. High-quality stainless steel blades keep your beard styled at the perfect length. Use the built-in skin scrubber. That's right, this little rubbery part on the bottom right here to clean your skin, massage your beard, or apply beard and face products. This Moby beard trimmer features an adjustable 5-step guide for precise hair length, ultra hygienic silicone bristles that deliver powerful sonic vibrations, a charging stand, fully waterproof abilities. It's available at Walmart's nationwide. You can shop the entire range of Moby products on walmart.com. You can find out more by visiting moby.com or by clicking the link down below. That's Moby, if you know, you mo, MOWBIE. Really excited to have a new partner. Look, it even lights up. Whoa, I hope that's coming through the thing. But yeah, it's outstanding. So really appreciate Moby coming on the show and being a sponsor of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Exciting to see it grow. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you guys so much for coming on board. Yeah.
We all have beard except
need
you,
it.
Darian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recently just shaved. I can't grow facial hair too well anyway. So it just
It looks like there could be an NFT in there. Like it glows.
Yeah,
that
no.
glow,
future, baby.
that glow kind of looked like Austin Cindric's car from the Clash.
A little bit.
A little bit of Tron.
It didn't
going
spin
on.
out though. It didn't spin out though.
Yeah,
Like
not 100 times.
Yeah, 100 times.
Very
right.
true.
So let's get into that too. So Eric Estep and the Garage Guys were both at the Clash. So Eric, we'll start off with you. Just talk about the atmosphere. What was this whole event like?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to hear y'all's perspective, but it was clear that there were a lot of new fans there. I thought the entire event was sort of put on the way you'd put on a college football game, you know, from the gates not opening until like 2 hours before the race. I'm used to being there all day, like crack of dawn to dusk, you know, and you couldn't really do that in this case. And, you know, I know you were talking before the show, Darian, about your parents are at the race. They were talking, tell the story. What did your mom say?
So my mom had told me that on a few occasions, like, you know how, you know, NASCAR fans, you're at a race, you stand up when the restart happens, right? Well, one lady there was like, hey, can you sit back down? I can't see. She didn't get up. So this was like her first race.
So I think that along with everything I observed proves that there were a lot of new fans that at least hadn't been to a race in person. So it was very lively. DJ Ski constantly was blasting through the speakers. So it was really, I mean, it was 6 hours straight of action, whether on the track, in the stands. I was impressed with the atmosphere. You don't get that kind of persistent sort of just beat that at Darlington, for example, or at Martinsville, you know. So they certainly managed to make this event feel different than your typical NASCAR race. I would argue maybe they made it a little too different, but it was fun. It was really cool to be there in person. They clearly put the emphasis on the at-track experience. I know TV, it sounds like, had some technical glitches here and there. Typical Fox issues here and there, but in person, I thought it was great. I thought it went off about as smoothly as you could hope for.
Yeah, it was incredible. I'll let Dale go. I know he's ready. He's itching. We're ready.
Yeah. So I heard about all the complaints from the broadcast, which I feel like that doesn't surprise me. Fox probably has a lot of work to do. But as you said, the environment and the atmosphere was excellent to me. The biggest thing I noticed, you kind of touched on a point about like how Darlington would be compared to that event. Everybody was just so positive and happy. And Jeff Gluck had put a tweet out that I could not have agreed with more. And it was just blatantly saying that everybody he had talked to, everybody he ran into was so positive and so excited and so happy about the event. And that is a very refreshing atmosphere. That's how you know there's not a lot of traditional NASCAR fans there, right? Because NASCAR fans, a lot of traditionalists seem to complain a lot. So, yeah, that was the biggest thing I noticed. I thought the racing was good. Most of the stands were full. Of course, people still tried to find a way to debate whether or not the stands looked good or not. But being there in person, having a good bird's eye view of it, it was 75, 80% full. But the biggest thing was just the positive energy and vibes that were floating around no matter who you talked to. I think it was a tremendous success from start to finish.
Yeah,
It was
oh, go ahead.
it was wild. I just wanted to just add to that. We were talking about the fans. We're out in LA. Everybody knows the Channel 5 return to Talladega and all that. I just had to give a shout out to Cyclops, man. Cyclops Shades guy. He was on the broadcast a good bit. You had a lot of wild boys and girls out there. So the broadcast, they did a really good job of showing them off. So it was just good to see that energy, man. I can't get enough of it.
No,
we need more.
It definitely looked like there was a lot of positivity out there, a lot of pretty positive vibes out there and stuff. But I have to address the whole crowd issue thing. Like, LA sports fans are weird. They show up late and then leave early. So like, I'm pretty sure that a lot of fans who haven't even been to any sort of racing thing in their lifetime probably saw the time on the race ticket and thought, oh, okay, so it's just one race. No, there was multiple races that y'all missed. So I guess like that, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll say they maybe could have done a slightly better job advertising that to the average fan, because I've gotten at least a few comments on my videos that echoed similar things, even for people just watching on TV. They thought it started at a different time or whatever. They didn't realize that they'd missed all the heats. So they could have done a better job advertising that, but no, your point about LA sports fans definitely seemed accurate. I thought, at least from my vantage point, it really filled in around the start of the main event. During the day, the stands, the portion of the stands that were in the sunlight were probably half full at best. But by the time the race started, I thought they were 60 to 70% full. And that's when it really started to look like a packed house. I did go back and see some of the broadcasts. There was at least, I think at the very beginning of the main event, Fox pulled out and did like a whole shot of the stadium as the cars were racing.
It was good.
And it looked cool. It would look very full. The cars it looked colorful. Like, that was a good image. That's the image Fox paid all this money for, was to get that shot. And I think it looked all right.
I will say, I saw the LA Times, I think it was, or it was one of the local LA like affiliates or like news providers or whatever. But their guess, I think they said, was like 60,000 was the crowd, their guess of the crowd. I know Adam Stern was being like he was being very safe with that, like 50,000, but it's like that place did not look like it was only 2/3 full. It looked a lot more full on TV.
It's capacity 77,000 out there. I know, because like the main thing that we were discussing was the fact that you had to look at all of the areas that were blocked off for broadcasting purposes. That was a good chunk of seats as well. So, I mean, just looking at it from where we were standing, like Dale was saying, we were up on the 7th floor up top. And just looking at it from down, I mean, I barely saw empty seats anywhere. So that right there is just the indicator. I mean, it's banging out there.
And I will say, Darian or Eric, when you guys touched on this earlier, but they could have, I do agree, they could have done a little bit better job advertising like what time the heats were at. But it doesn't surprise me, because heats, this is only the second time in the last 8,000 years NASCAR has done heats. With the Bristol Dirt Race last year, they tried that out. But I was a little concerned, because for the first heat, we got there in time. There was a bunch of people outside the track. So we were walking around like, wow, this is packed. There's a lot of people getting food, beer, merch. And when we walked in the track for the first heat, as it started, I was a little concerned at the crowd. But I guess that goes to show about the lack of advertising for those heats, because as the heats progressed, the crowd filled up like really, really quick. So
now I'll ask this, because last year when like Darian and I were there, there was, and I granted it was like 35% capacity for the weekend and stuff. But even when you add that in, there was only like 2,000 people maybe at most there for the Clash. And if it had been full capacity for that week, it probably would have been only like 5,000. Let's be honest. 60,000 is about around 60 to 60% of the front grandstands at Daytona, which they used to use there only for the Clash. When is the last time we can remember the Clash having over half the seats at Daytona filled up? Because that would be
shootout era.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
Early 2000s, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, because I watched the clip of Junior winning in 2008. And the front grandstands back then, I looked it up, had 110,000 as their capacity, and that place maybe was 70% full. So it's like you have to look back almost 15 years to find a comparable crowd to what we had in this race. Now, I'll say this straight up. I had my doubts going into this, and I made it very well known on this show and online. I am completely fine being proven wrong, and I'm so happy I was. And we'll get into more of the racing stuff, but it looked like, whether it was on TV, even with the bad broadcast, whether it was on Twitter or anywhere else in social media, seeing how it was the number one trend in the country, and just seeing what it seemed like at the track, like I am pleasantly and happily surprised. And I think it's something NASCAR can build on, to be honest.
Winston was back.
Yeah.
It was back in full swing.
Yeah, looking like it is back, definitely. Now, these guys were at the race. Me and Jarrett watched it on TV. Jarrett, let's go over the terrible broadcast I mean, like, it wasn't totally terrible, but,
it was Fox Sports.
Yeah, it was Fox Sports standards, So, the one positive I liked about it, though, was, Tony Stewart in the booth. That was pretty, I definitely enjoyed that.
He was the one positive. Yeah, there was one positive, and it was Tony Stewart.
To be honest, now I can't really think of any other positives. Like, the camera angles were just so weird, too.
I like some of Fox's new graphics. Aside from the cartoons, I liked some of their leaderboards and stuff.
So the graphics and Tony Stewart, that's about the only two positives. The rest was, not so much.
I'll say this, Tony Stewart, because, like, I liked the Boyer stuff at first last year because it was kind of new, and it was a little more energy, especially after the way DW had been towards the end, and then the 2-man booth. But I'll say this, like, even as someone who Clint Boyer kind of grinded my gears towards the end of last year, I really, really liked how Stewart was like the middle ground between Mike Joy and Clint Boyer. Whereas like Mike Joy is one of the greatest professionals, one of the greatest people to ever be on air for a NASCAR race. And Clint Boyer is sort of, doing all the crazy stuff and having fun with it. Tony Stewart was like both had the professionalism, but some of the zingers he would get in about different drivers or the different jokes he'd say always managed to lead to something bigger. So it was really cool seeing all three of them feed off of each other. Like if they want Tony Stewart full time, based on the Clash, I'm cool with that. Yeah. Completely fine with that.
Now, one thing I'm not cool with are some of these camera angles. I mean, it's a short track, and like some of the stuff they missed too. I mean, we'll talk about this later more, but like the one thing they missed was like Ryan Blaney was mad at Eric Jones during the main, and then he apparently threw his Hans device. I'm like, how do you miss that though? And apparently, like the camera guy was right there. Like, he was right there. All he had to do was just turn around and just see, like, hey, he's about to...
Well, they're too busy zooming in on the different college girls.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's another thing, too. They just kept zooming... Not only were they zooming in on the on-track action, but they kept zooming in on the this group of college kids.
Did they show any of the broadcasts on the TVs there? Because when they had Ice Cube during the halftime show, like... They were zooming in on the same group of college girls the whole time. Like it was like every 3 clips. It was like on a timer, and I I think it was Slap. I think who was like, how down bad is this camera guy?
Yeah. So I saw that online. There was some TVs up top where we were at. I got to watch a little bit of like the last LCQ, which was just a beautiful, pardon my French, shit show. There's no other way to put it. And it was great. And so I got to watch a little bit of that there. But I wanted to ask, like, I've seen so many clips of, and I haven't got to go back and watch it. I've seen so many clips, guys, of Tony Stewart just completely just ripping Joey Logano to shreds. What was the reaction when he won from Tony?
I don't know. He really
Silence probably.
I mean, he sort of like said a little bit, but it was mostly Mike and Clint.
Yeah, he didn't really say too much.
Oh, like
afterwards.
it was there, like just that,
Yeah.
They didn't show the booth for a while, so
Let's
like
leave it
rolling
at
his
that.
eyes every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't. There we had TVs around us, but I didn't really. I was not paying attention to.
We were on the
TV 'cause I
edge,
was
man.
trying
Like
to watch.
we were waiting on Logano to win that race, man. That was a big one for us. So
And I will
hell of a way to kick off the season.
I will say that. I just lost my train of thought because I just thought about Logano winning. That's money. But no, what was I gonna say? Son of a gun. Somebody just start talking.
Yeah,
I forgot what I was
Eric,
gonna
you
say.
wanted
I'll
to
pick
say
up. My
something?
train of thought.
I don't want to like forward a conspiracy theory here, but I want to ask the garage guys. I don't know how much you pay attention to the big screen during the race, but like you talk about the college girls dancing around, Jared or Darren, whoever mentioned it. Like the energy from some of those like big screen interviews. I don't want a conspiracy theory here, but I think some of those were plants. I think some of those were actors. I think they got some actors in the crowd to talk about how much they love this, how much they're going to come back next
because
year.
it was so positive every
They
single
cut
time.
to like, I think they got some child actors because they cut to like an 8-year-old with like some people around him or whatever. And the 8-year-old, the lady goes like, are you having fun? And the kid doesn't, without missing a beat, goes, I'm having the best time of my life.
Damn.
Everyone goes crazy, starts shaking. I'm like, this feels scripted. I'm not sorry. Like, I love the
The
energy,
darndest things.
but I'm like, this is a little too
Eric-
much for me. But
Eric
whatever.
is going full Alex Jones on it.
Yeah.
They got crisis actors coming in and saying they're having a good
Saving the
time.
race.
Been
We
to
get
a-
a foil
I've-
hat.
I've been to a lot of NASCAR races, seen a lot of big screen interviews, and none of them go as well
Yeah,
as
none of those little
nearly
kids.
every big screen interview went during the clash. So either they just vetted them really carefully before they put them on air and said, hey, you having a good time? Oh, yeah, I am. Okay, I'm going to put you on the air. Or there were some child actors. We are in Hollywood after all. That's my conspiracy theory for the year. Not a big deal, but I just mentioning the camera guy pointing at the Ice Cube people, made me think about that.
This
I mean,
shows, this
Hollywood,
shows,
man, they had like 5-year-old children out on the like Hollywood Boulevard, like doing some like yoga poses by stars, dude. There's no telling. Like
There's no
these
limits.
kids were ready for that camera, bro.
I remember
this
what I was going to
shows-
say now. We're talking about the Ice Cube performance. I had read on Twitter a bunch of people were saying that the performance like felt awkward. Darian or Jared, did you guys feel like the performance?
Well, no, we'll talk about that a little bit later, like more of it a little bit later. But I mean, Ice Cube brought it. I loved his performance. But like the funniest part about this was he's at a freaking NASCAR race. A lot of those fans do not know how to freaking dance to rap music or R&B at all.
I was just gonna say
they were so freaking stiff. I'm like, oh my god! Like, and I was texting my mom. I was like, do you see this? And she's like, yeah. Like
okay, so that makes sense. I was gonna say in person it was lit. Like I loved it. I mean, I thought it was awesome.
No,
but I'd seen those comments, so I was wondering what it was from you guys' perspective.
Yeah.
Don't forget about Mr. Worldwide before it all kicked
Oh yeah, no,
off.
we'll get into that. We'll get into that later.
I want to
on,
bring
for
up one thing really quick. I find this shows like just how toxic NASCAR fans could be. That Eric literally is forging a conspiracy theory about NASCAR fans being happy.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way these guys are really that
There's
happy.
There's no way, right?
It's NASCAR Twitter, baby.
I just had to say that because it's so true. Like except at NASCAR races, NASCAR fans are pretty good.
Yeah,
but
it's
like
just on
in
the
general,
internet, on the internet, they're just some of them are just so awful. You know,
yeah, in general, NASCAR fans are can be just mean people at times, especially like online. It's funny. It's an entire
Can't wait to
conspiracy.
see the metaverse, the NASCAR metaverse, how that's gonna play out.
That's gonna be crazy.
Oh, you want to get into that?
But the next thing we'll get into, let's get into some of the on-track action. First of all, the heat races as well as the last chance qualifiers. Eric, we'll start off with you. Just like, which one of those races stands out the most?
I thought, really at the very beginning, I believe it was Blaney in the first heat race. Blaney knocked Hamlin out of the way in the closing laps for the final transfer spot. And the crowd reaction was exciting. Like that was the moment where it's like, okay, we're getting started. Engines had fired. They'd run a few laps, but it was kind of like already getting into rhythm. When he knocked Hamlin out of the way, people got out of their seat, and I thought, all right, it's on. This is going to be a heck of a night. So that stood out to me. Really, it was surprising to see how uncompetitive some of the heavyweights were that had to go into the LCQs. Hamlin, Harvick, Keselowski, Truex, to probably a few others that I'm forgetting. But your typical typical favorites all won. Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, guys who started up front on the pole, held their track position. It was such a short race that they were all fairly straightforward. They had their moments battling, for that transfer spot. I think there was only one. I think it was heat race 3, maybe, was the only one that didn't see much drama. The other 3 all had things to watch. And with only 9 or 10 cars on the track, you could keep close tabs on every important battle. So I had fun watching them.
Yeah, to me, it's Justin Haley. That's like the story for me on the heats. I don't, at least me and Chase didn't expect what Colleague would bring specifically with the 31, how fast they were.
They were fast.
And like you said, if you started on pole in your heat, you were gone. The track position was very important, but the speed that the 31 showed was ridiculous, and nobody expected that. And even like you said, Eric, the disappointments, Martin Truex and Denny Hamlin, Truex might not have been able to even race his way in had he not have that provisional, and they just dipped out on purpose, which was smart. I would think anybody would have done that. He
dodged a bullet in that second LCQ.
Yeah, absolutely. So seeing Denny, who we were pretty high on our betting stuff, and Truex struggle like that, while Kyle Busch was arguably one of the best guys in the field. I wouldn't even say arguably, he was a top 3 car throughout the weekend. So that was a big story to me.
Yeah, we had a really good on our podcast that we dropped today. We actually had a really good theory on why Colleague was so fast. Matt Colleague has probably found a way for the cars to lift weights, just because they have that whole jam going on with them. Like they're in that groove. You know what I'm saying?
He says Matt Colleague is always at the gym if he's not at the racetrack or something. Like
big gym guy.
I could see it, but
cars doing squats.
Yeah.
For me, what I the thing that got me for the heats and everything was just the fact that nobody was safe. I love that. Like, I'm completely fine. I know the charter system will never allow this, but I'm completely fine with that being the way NASCAR does things. It was cool as hell because I mentioned it in a video too, that, for like someone like all of us who are big NASCAR fans, like Brad Keselowski and Kurt Busch missing is a huge thing.
That was crazy.
But for the people that this was intended for, like just hearing that a former champion couldn't make this race, that in and of itself is a big enough storyline to make people intrigued and be like, wow, you have to be really good to be in this. If 2 people that won championships in this sport can't make this race, like this is intense. Nobody's safe. That's what really caught my eye on this whole thing, was those 2 not making it. And then, like we were saying, Hamlin, Truex, some of these guys that we are expecting to be fast being complete no-shows, loved it. That's what caught my eye and what I love the most.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of parity. Definitely a lot of parity in the field.
I'm an Indy 500 stan all day, and Indy 500 goes by that, where no matter what, no matter how much money you have, no matter how talented you are, like you have to race your way in and qualify in without having some kind of provisional. So I love that too. I love that dynamic that somebody like Kyle Larson could go home and not race.
Yeah.
And I thought this was a good first try, because you're right, Jared. Like with the char system, I doubt that they would implement this in a points race, but they did it for an exhibition, a big exhibition that, as we'll talk about, got over 4 million viewers in primetime television. And I'll be curious to see if any sponsors threw fits. I wish we could know if Keselowski's new sponsor threw a fit that he missed the show, or if Monster Energy's mad that Kurt missed the main event. Like, I wonder, because that, I think, is who NASCAR was really watching out. They were protecting the teams from themselves. They were watching out for their sponsors by guaranteeing them into all these events. So with the charge system, you're right. Probably never going to see this in a points race, but we did for an exhibition. So the door is being cracked open in the future, perhaps.
And Cody Ware.
Yeah, I was about to mention him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like I pointed out, like that, hey, like they're actually competitive, and Ware Racing looks competitive. And I had a bunch of people being like, no, Tony Stewart put that car together. That's it. They're just in good equipment. And Ware Racing themselves was like just like a hawk, monitoring every one of the responses to that tweet and saying, no, we prepared it. We prepared it. So I'm like, apparently they prepared it.
Yeah.
Just say it.
They have an alliance. They have an
We
SHR
talked to
alliance
Rick.
now.
Like, we talked to Rick when we were up there and on the top floor, because I mean, like, that's been a thing for me, and Dale and I have both talked about it for a while. We had Cody on Garage Talk not too long ago, and he really went deep into this year. It's like there's always been that theory, like if you just minimize the amount of vehicles you have in your garage and you put all of that work into one vehicle, that competitiveness can come. And I mean, Cody showed he belonged, dude. I mean, he didn't make it into the main thing, but that is a hell of an improvement for Rick Ware Racing.
And a hell of improvement.
Type of light. And
also, people forget Ryan Preece actually he won in the Rick Ware Racing car because Ty Dillon was such a weapon that NASCAR decided, nope, get out of here. And
that's the craziest.
Let's touch on that for a brief
moment. That was the most forgettable heat win ever.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it took me like 30 minutes to realize, wait, Ryan Preece won that.
Ate a whole bowl of fries.
So let's touch on that really quick.
None of us watching the broadcast found out until we went on Twitter.
Yeah, nobody. So let's touch on that really quick, Eric. So like you had both Ty Dillon and Austin Cindric, both were just complete weapons out there. What was
that second? We can brush over the first LCQ. Was the first one? Was that when Eric Almirola got dumped by Todd Gillen? Did that happen in the first one?
I don't think that was the first.
Maybe that was the second as well. Or was that a heat race?
It was one of the heat races, I think. Yeah.
That was the only
heat races.
That was really the only. That was only one of the big. That was really the only big controversial thing that happened until that second LCQ. Yeah. So we can brush over all that type of stuff. Second
Austin
LCQ,
Cindric trying to just like completely just run over everybody too. That was one.
That second race, everybody was. Yes, Ty Dillon and Cindric were probably the instigators in most instances, but Bubba was involved. Kurt Busch was kind of the innocent bystander. Alex Bowman was kind of the innocent bystander in a lot of those. Yeah, that you really just had a perfect grouping of drivers in that second LCQ. You had two rookies. You had both Harrison Burton and Austin Cindric, and you could argue almost Ty Dillon almost feels like a rookie. He's not a rookie, but he falls into the other category of desperate drivers. You know, Bubba Wallace, kind of desperate. He's looking to prove himself every chance he's in the race car. Same goes for Ty Dillon, who's back. You know, he wants to make it a big impression. So you had a real bad combination of drivers in that race that the moment one caution came out, you knew it was never going to end. It was just going to be an avalanche. So, I think some of it was just good, hard short track racing. If you're in these cars that can take a hit, if you're in a quarter-mile Coliseum, I think you have the green light to run over each other a little bit. But there were points where it got excessive. The fact that Kurt got KO'd by none of his own fault. He just got steamrolled by whoever the guy was that ran over Bubba. I think it was Ty Dillon, actually.
It was Ty Dillon.
Yeah.
Harrison Burton was driving like a psycho too. I mean,
he was, and then he
got dumped by Ty Dillon.
Yeah.
I was looking back at my own footage. I don't know how well the broadcast caught it, but I caught, Cindric getting spun, and then he kind of spun out in front of Bubba. And Bubba just gassed it up and just kept pushing him into the wall. He's like, he was trying to jump him because they were just done with Cindric. So
everyone was.
It was a mess. I thought the fact that it only took place over about 50 laps, it didn't put a blemish on the overall event. If that had been the whole event, it would have been too much. But as it was, it stood out. It was fun.
Yeah. I like that we had one race that was like that, though.
Exactly.
You had like 7 total races. You had one small one that it took a lot of time. It extended the start of the green flag for the main, but Austin Cindric, there's a difference between just beating and banging, just bump and run kind of stuff, which we saw in every single race. And then what I saw with Austin Cindric was literally just, it looked like he wasn't even hitting the brake. He was just using a car on the outside as his brake.
Excuse me, coming through. I'm in the 2 car now. I have to be here.
I mean, it was insane. And yeah, Ty Dillon, very similar.
Hey, Ty Dillon's back. I guess everyone's aware now. So.
Well, and they set the precedent early where everybody started doing it, really, except Kurt Busch, who had run away with it, and I thought was an easy lock to win it. And like you guys said, just got completely taken out.
Yeah. I loved on the big screen, because at first, from where my vantage point was, it looked like Bubba took Kurt Busch out. It's like a teammates wrecking each other. And then obviously I saw that he got hit from behind. The moment after Kirk gets wrecked on the big screen, they cut to Hamlin in the infield. And he just has the most dejected look on his face. I thought that was so funny.
Yeah. One thing I didn't expect was I did not really think these guys would be going 3 wide. I really did not see that.
They made it work.
And they did it over and over again, going 3 wide and just somehow making it. It was insane.
Every time they went 3 wide and they showed they pan over to someone 3 wide, every time for like the first maybe 10 minutes, I'm sitting there like puckering up and I'm like, well, is this just how it's going to be the whole time? Like, okay, cool.
It's awesome.
Edge of your seat stuff.
When Fox wasn't like zooming in on the pores of the driver's skin, that is.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, the main event wasn't a shit show. We actually saw some spectacular racing. So Eric, start us off with what'd you think of the main there?
Yeah, it was a mix. I was excited to see Tyler Reddick pass Kyle Busch straight up for the lead. I thought that was really exciting. That I thought set the tone. I was really excited when his car broke And I know then Briscoe and Hamlin, they all broke like on the same lap, basically. That was really the one blemish. I thought, obviously the next gen's a new car is going to have some little issues like this, things that, maybe wouldn't have broken the Gen 6 that teams are going to be getting used to, and parts that may need to be edited and updated as we go. But aside from that, I enjoyed how this race was divided into two halves. Reddick kind of stole the show in the first half. Laps flew by. Second half, you had some spins. You had Chase Elliott spin out. You had Blaney and Eric Jones. Jones put Blaney in the wall. And you had the Hans device throw that nobody saw. But the second half of the race was really Kyle Busch versus Joey Logano. Busch got away. Logano was chasing him. Caution. Restart. Logano gets the lead. Kyle Busch chasing him, and then he fell off the last 3 or 4 laps. You didn't get that super climactic bump and run, spin and win finish, anything like that. But you had juggernauts of the sport, Logano and Busch, who have a history. They don't really like each other. It came down to the two of them, two of the most recognizable paint schemes, recognizable names. Overall, I thought it was good from a show perspective. And you had some exciting underdogs. Like you mentioned, RCR across the board was fantastic. Reddick was leading laps. Austin Dillon was third. The RCR affiliates, like Justin Haley, was fast until he got junked by Kyle Larson, which you guys can talk about. Eric Jones, Petty GMS, that's another RCR line team. He was top 5. I thought Chevys looked good, specifically RCR. They were sort of the feel-good performers of the day.
Yeah, 100%.
I think a shout out should go well deserved to some Stuart Haas. Cole Custer and Chase Briscoe were both really good. Yeah. Cole Custer was underrated. He passed a lot of cars throughout the entire day. And obviously when Chase Briscoe broke a drivetrain, he was running the fastest laps on the track at one point. Yeah. So Stuart Haas, I didn't even think about the RCR affiliate with Haley and Eric Jones. So that's a really good point. Eric Jones, to me, is a big one, running 4th after starting 16th. I mean, that's a huge day for him. I know he had gotten in that tussle with Blaney or whatever happened there, but still a good run and good momentum for Richard Petty to start the season.
Yeah. And Eric, you said that it wasn't as climatic. If you'd have been by Dale and I when Logano won that race, you would have experienced the climatic energy of a lifetime, my friend. I want to just add really quickly just the fact that we saw the drivetrain issues or whatever, like those, we got time to figure that out. But I love the fact that Reddick is showing out this early and being able to do that. He's putting up for California. He was kind of that guy that got to do that. And just looking back, there are concerns for me, and we already kind of brushed over, the Brad K thing. And I feel like there are going to be some of that things with him taking over a new team. We don't know what that's going to look like this season, but we can't. The one thing I guess I want everybody to know, because this is what everybody's going to do, is please don't base the entire season off this race.
It's too early. It's too early to tell. Yeah.
I love that we got classic KFB versus Logano. I didn't say anything about that. Yeah. I feel like we didn't see a lot from those two against each other last year in particular. So that was really cool to start the season that way. The two most, arguably the most polarizing figures in the sport going at it. And they were close racing. I thought the finish was good. I was happy with it.
But man, this was kind of brushed over. Oh, just really quick, Jared. This was kind of brushed over. I mean, Larson, he just straight up lost his temper on Justin Haley. That was kind of surprising too. You don't typically see Larson get that hot-headed on the racetrack like that, But it wasn't even Justin Haley's fault. It was really William Byron's fault. He just shoved Haley into him, and then I guess Larson in that moment entering turn 1 thought oh, he's gonna pay me back or something, so he just took him out.
I'll say this. I thought Haley certainly dove out of line, he was going to make a move. But, yes, he got pushed by Byron into Larson. But, yeah, no, I didn't mean to brush over there. But, yeah, no, Larson, I think we typically think of him as pretty even keel behind the wheel at least. And so to see that sort of sudden rush of anger, especially in a race like this where everyone was running. I'm sure Larson drove through people at some point during the day. The fact that everyone was getting run over, nobody got wrecked, didn't even stack the field up that bad. Felt like an overreaction. But, I think that's what NASCAR told the drivers beforehand to be aggressive. I'm sure of it. They had to have said something, put on a show. Maybe Larson took that too seriously to heart. I don't know.
He's growing his flow out, dude. The energy's coming behind. What's happening?
I just also can't imagine how frustrating it was that style of racing with how just the dynamic of how short the track was and the hard braking. Everyone was hitting everyone. So I could imagine the frustration levels being pretty high. I was kind of upset on Radioactive. I didn't hear feedback from Larson after that wreck. I think Cliff Daniels or somebody or a spotter said that Haley hit him. or something. I was like, okay, that's not what happened. Yeah. Like when, but no, I think the frustration factor was huge and that kind of stuff happened.
Jared,
I'm going to be really interested though to see how, especially, because obviously we don't base everything off this race, but this is a short track. So we can at least kind of infer from here what'll happen with short tracks. And I think also with road courses, because of how much contact is going to be made because of the similar style of racing, especially at tracks like Martinsville. I'm going to be interested to see how the cars do hold up, because from what it sounded like and what people were saying on Twitter is that it seemed like, and like when I say people, I mean like actual experts in it, not just Joe Schmo. It seemed like a lot of the issues stemmed from either shifting or a lot of contact. And that's going to be something that is really, really big come road courses with shifting, contact with road courses and short tracks. I am going to be really interested to see how that goes, because we did, the main event was 37.5 miles. And we're going to do 250 at Bristol in the fall and 250 miles at Martinsville coming up, So I think that's something that does need to be watched, not like blown out of proportion, like, oh no, someone's car had a problem, they're going to run out of cars tomorrow. Like, I'm not going to go that far with it and, ring the alarm bells, but it is something I think that should be watched. I don't think we're going to have the same problems at Daytona, complete different types of racing, but I know a lot of people in the chat were kind of talking a bit about it. And I think that is something that it's going to be an early season storyline. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to be, sitting here saying that the sky is falling, but there might be some of these teams that are, maybe a few races in, especially if they have a few problems, might be in a little bit of an issue here.
I mean, it's something you have to look out for. It is. I mean, like, to see two of the top 5 drivers early on in the race, Tyler Reddick and Chase Briscoe, I mean, just, definitely potential superstars in the future of the sport, but like just to see their race be, completely finished over, a whole mechanical failure. I mean, that was surprising, and both at the same time under caution. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's definitely something we should watch out for. But yeah, I'm definitely with Jared on this one. Just like, don't overblow this yet. It's just one race. We'll see where we are 6 to 9 races from now. Nice. See what I did there? So,
yeah, they should have that fixed by then. I feel like a lot of these, like these first few races coming up, the thing with Daytona that gets me, I don't want to get us off topic too much, but just seeing the damage just from the light hit that Justin Haley took on that car. I'm just trying to imagine what that is going to look like when these guys are going full speed around the super speedway.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. That was a lot of damage for just a kind of a small.
It was nasty, man.
At like 40 miles per hour.
Like a toy car, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna, like Jared said, I don't think it's a time to freak out, but I definitely don't think it's a nothing burger that we're having a part shortage right now. And like Chase Briscoe had mechanical failures twice. So I mean, if you're Stuart Haas, I'd be a little bit concerned because they broke a cable in practice or qualifying. I think it was practice. So
it was drivetrains on Briscoe and Reddick, and then power steering for Hamlin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens as the season develops. I guess on a lighter note too, before and at the halftime portion of the race. Yeah, sorry about that. We had both Pitbull. Oh, good. Yeah, we had Pitbull and Ice Cube.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide himself. Yes, the NASCAR owner himself of Trackhouse. And Ice Cube performing too. So, Jared, start us off with that. I mean, like, what do you think of NASCAR trying to, venture out of their comfort zone?
And this is nothing against country music in general, but it was so good not to have a country
finally
one. It's something different. It felt good to have something different. I'm not someone who's every day listening to Pitbull and Ice Cube, and let's be real, like they're not even. It's not even that they're like the most relevant in music and culture today, but the fact that it's something different and it is a tonal change, love it. Absolutely love that. Now, yes. I will say the performance for both performances, those guys are great performers. So even if it was just them sitting up there and just, singing, rapping, whatever for 5-10 minutes and there's nothing else around them, no pyro or whatever, they still would have pulled it off great. So I absolutely loved it. And I hope they do it more at actual points paying races. And if people are upset by that, then tough luck.
But at least get BJ Ski back.
Yeah.
For cautions.
I'm not gonna lie,
nothing
dude.
more electric than Avicii levels going down under a caution where the crowd is going insane, like just completely berserk. Okay?
I don't know
That
if
is
it was
kind of what Coda's like. I'll be honest, Coda was like that on the front stretch. Like, because Darian and I were sitting on the front stretch, and we're just like, this is awesome. Why don't they do this at every race? And
All right.
apparently they learned.
2 points. First of all, I don't know if it was because I was so involved and just so intensely watching the race and, just thinking about our bets, but I feel like I never actually heard or even noticed a DJ Ski like song play. I don't know. I feel like me and Chase are on the same boat. Eric, did you notice during caution?
I noticed. I'm not in this boat.
I definitely noticed.
Oh, you were jamming. Okay, so it was just, okay, never mind.
I noticed because it felt like he never stopped. See, I noticed the one time he didn't do it, and it was when Almirola got sent into the wall, and I was like, wait, he's not playing. And I thought, oh, maybe they're actually concerned for the drive. He wanted to make sure he got out first.
Good.
Like, that was a
that's
big
good
hit.
point.
That's respectful.
Yeah.
So my second point is regarding just this whole idea and how it played out. This is my second reference to the Indy 500. I'm a huge Indy 500 guy. I've been going for a decade, basically. And I think this is a potential avenue to market some of these larger venues, how the Indy 500 markets their concerts throughout the entire weekend. They have a concert on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and they all represent different groups. You got country you got rock on Friday night, country on Saturday, and then EDM/rap on Sunday while the race is going on and in the morning. So I think that is a huge avenue to bring more fans who maybe wouldn't go to watch a race. They specifically go to see those artists, but maybe there's just a point when they're walking into the concert that they see a car or they see a driver and they're like, just one glimpse, they're like, wow, that's really cool. Yeah. And then maybe after that concert, they get lit or whatever and go home. They'll think about that one moment where they saw something cool, like just a glimpse of that race or the pre-race or the post-race, and be like, you know what, why don't we go to another race? And maybe it won't be a race that has concerts, but because of that one thing they remember, it could bring them back and create new fans.
1,000%. I mean, we had a special guest that came out with us. He's a TikTok influencer, doesn't have anything to do, like never watched NASCAR in his life. Literally, the one question that they had asked, they were like, wow, the cars are like regular sized cars. I thought they were like jumbo sized cars. Like that was literally what they thought. And I was just like, I'm not going to be the guy that's like, no, that's a stupid question, because if you never watched NASCAR, you don't know. And there's no telling what kind of questions could be. But when that was over, one of the guys that was with us, like DM me, he said, bro, I'm a Joey Logano fan for life. Like the other guy is like, when are you coming back out west? And he's like, I want to come back. Like, I want to watch another race.
That's
like
good.
It's getting to the track. When you get to the track, you see it with your own eyes, or you experience a weekend. You didn't really have that element with this race, but when you experience a weekend camping at a racetrack, you go sit down with your friends, you watch a race. That is just, it's next level, because you realize this is not just a race. This is an entire like lifestyle, or an entire just vibe. Is the easiest way to put it. So that's definitely, the more they do these kind of things, and we realize now they can pop one of these anywhere. Dale and I talked to so many people over the weekend about how cool would it be to see this type of track at Wembley Stadium in London, or in Mexico City, or let's go back to Japan. I want Suzuka Circuit back. Okay. I'm just saying, like, you could go anywhere, man, with this and just captivate an audience and then build a NASCAR fan for life. And that's what this is all about at the end of the day. That's what we're all here for. That's what we're doing, because we love the sport, and it's time to get new people into it. And this is just, NASCAR is knocking homers right now with this kind of format right here.
I know on that note, Darren's going to want to talk about that a little bit more in a second. But on the previous note, I know when I lived in Austin and they had the U.S. Grand Prix every year, the billboards would say, Imagine Dragons, Britney Spears, Formula One U.S. Grand Prix. And that's how they got people to show up. So I like Britney Spears, not the most relevant artist even 3 or 4 years ago, but I'm sure people
Brittany's
want to
free
see her.
now. Shout out to Brittany.
So,
Brittany.
90s baby. I got to just say it. Shout out to Brittany.
Yeah.
I will sign on to everything you just said, though, Chase, about getting to new fans. I think
Yeah.
that was beautiful. Brought a tear to my eye.
Thank you.
I was definitely a fan of the performances and stuff. My one thing is, though, let's not make halftime performances or halftime breaks a regular thing in NASCAR. You know, I feel like, you know, just for this event, it's fine, but let's not bring it into the regular season portion.
Keep it pre and post race. I think they could do something.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
That's fair.
The All-Star
then you
race
start-
would be a good
Yeah,
thing
even the
for it,
All-Star
too.
race, too. I mean, Texas is boring
I mean-
enough, so you got to bring
No, I mean-
something else.
So the big
Sorry, they have
conversation-
done this before.
I'm not going to knock you
the
there.
big conversation I saw about the All-Star race is people were like, wow, this really shows how pointless the All-Star race is
Dude,
now.
At this point, I mean, I was just thinking that, too. At this point, like, is there really a need for the All-Star race anymore?
Well,
like,
Just make
It's
this
just
the
one of
All-Star
them. You
race.
have to make sure you give $1 million to the winner, whether you do it for the All-Star or you do it for the Clash.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's the biggest stipulation involved here.
yeah.
I see we're getting a bunch of free Britneys in the chat.
God.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Put
There
them
we
up.
go.
Put them up.
Stole
yeah.
my heart
Nice.
as like an 8-year-old kid.
No, but in conclusion, we could definitely agree the performances by Pitbull and Ice Cube were amazing. So props to NASCAR for that. So now moving on, this is from Adam Stern. He said, if this race works and is deemed a success, races in the Pacific Northwest, Denver, New York City, as well as international cities like Tokyo, Mexico City, and London are all on the table. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, like, I guess my next question to that is, like, what stadiums and what other venues do you want NASCAR to venture towards? Jarrett, you start us off.
I'm going to go really, really wild and kind of crazy with it here. And this would obviously have to be a change in the TV contract with it. But you know how back in the day, Fox and NBC would switch off speed weeks every year?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say NBC wants to do that again, because let's be real, which NASCAR provider wouldn't want the Daytona 500? I think it would be crazy, especially if it were in America. It'd be a lot easier to do it if you found a way to use a stadium in the city they were doing the Olympics in, while NBC is covering both NASCAR and the Olympics. Because if you have the same TV provider to do it, and again, this might be, say, 2028, because they're going, I believe, to Los Angeles, it would be a way, one, you could get international fans, brand new fans. You could stay at the LA Coliseum with that one, I think. And you have the TV providers who would be willing to move different things around and well, not willing, but able to move different things around and be able to fit it in that way. Now, we would have to pray for no rain or have rain tires just in case by some weird chance that happened. But maybe if it was like for an all-star race or something, depending on when in the year it would be, that'd be an option, I think. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't.
Just make
I like
racing an
that.
Olympic sport. If you can curl, if curling is an Olympic sport, driving should
An
be.
auto
Like,
race.
I don't know,
Yeah.
motorsports, right? Eric?
NASCAR will actually have to do a podium where they do gold, silver, and bronze
Yeah,
medal to the
the
top three
first
Get
Finish
Jeff
it.
Gordon back out there to be like the robot man, holding the torch.
Oh,
He's
God.
slowly turning into Rick Hendrick.
He really
from over.
is.
Like,
God.
It
yeah.
is so weird.
dude, I
It
saw
is-
him on there. I'm like,
Holy
He
shit.
looked like
Yeah.
a greasy used
Dude.
car salesman.
He's aging. He's
Rick Hendrick.
aging.
Don't
too
go
fast.
that far.
I think he's aging too quick, and
He's
it's
just
scaring me.
Yeah.
He's aging too quick. I don't. It's so weird because I always think of him as a young guy,
well, I mean,
being a
how
kid,
old is he?
being a Jeff Gordon fan. I think he's like. I
Is he
think he
50
turned
yet?
50 this
He
year.
said he's
Yeah.
approaching his 50s, I think.
I think he's 49 or 50.
He's 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, he turned 50. He'll be 51.
Still
this
looking
year.
like a Don in that tech vest, though. You got to be real. You know what I'm saying?
I will say I don't like long hair Jeff Gordon. I like when Jeff Gordon has short hair in the broadcast.
You
should bring
But
the
now he's
stash
getting this
back.
long hair.
Looks a lot like
Oh,
Rick Hendrick
absolutely.
for sure.
Why? This looks
Absolutely.
like this
Yeah.
look right here needs to return.
Just with the little salt and pepper in
That
there.
kind of looks like
Basically,
that
Dale.
kind of
Look
looks
at Dale
like
down
me
there.
with
Look
the
at her.
jersey.
This is you, Dale. Just get a rainbow suit. Oh, you already got
Gotta
it
get
on.
that
Look at
shade.
you.
Oh my
I know.
gosh.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. That's
right.
kind of weird.
Eric, what's your pick, though?
Jeff Dale Hart.
For a stadium race,
Yeah, venue,
See-
wherever.
I don't have a strong pick. I would look at, personally, as someone who lives in Houston, I wish they could figure out what to do with the Astrodome. I think a race in an outfitted Astrodome would be cool, but I don't know if that's physically possible. But whatever they do, I think they need to. They have the technology. They've proven they have the technology between the cars, the way they drive, the way they corner, and the way NASCAR is able to basically bring in their own safer barriers and remove them overnight. they could go to Hickory or Bowman Gray or North Wilkesboro, obviously, if it gets renovated, and do an all-star event type thing there. And sure, maybe only 10,000 fans get to see it in person, but it's a made-for-TV spectacle the way, and I've said this either on this show or on my show, I've said it on a bunch of shows in the past, the same way Major League Baseball did their Field of Dreams game last year. They built a stadium in a cornfield in Iowa, and it was the highest-rated regular season baseball game in 16 years. And it wasn't the Yankees or the Red Sox. It was like, I don't even remember who played. It was like the St. Louis Cardinals and the Colorado. I don't remember who it was. So I think NASCAR should use the abilities they have now to do something similar at an actual grassroots short track that helped get them to where they are today.
Worked for SRX.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole series is made off of that premise.
I saw where they got 5 flags on there now. That's the close one to us. So shout out to that. Yeah. I want to add, I mean, I know I've already kind of gave a spiel on like, Wembley and things like that, but I think continuing like just, I mean, any major football field, dude. I mean, you go out west, like look at CenturyLink Stadium in Seattle. They've never seen a race in Seattle. You got Oregon. I know they got a road course out in Oregon. I mean, just keep kind of hitting that West Coast up. Dude, let's go to Hawaii, bro. Like, let's go to Hawaii. That's the way I'm looking at it. Like, get down there. Like, let's really switch it up. Get fans. Like, that's a reason for people to go on vacation. That's tax dollars, bro. I mean, let's get serious. So, I mean, that right there alone. And then I don't know, like more like if we go full blown overseas for some reason, just like where we are right now, going into like, this territory of the future or whatever, I just want to see a NASCAR race in Dubai.
That's what I've done that. I've done that in NR 2003 multiple times.
Yeah, but they have to have underglow and it has to be at night.
Yeah.
That's the only one.
No, yeah, definitely not during the day. No, it's too hot for that down there.
But if it's night here, it's day there. I guess that works, kind of. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I was gonna say I like the idea. I think Jarrett said this, but Wembley Stadium would be sick, absolutely sick. But I like Mexico City. And I think a model to look at that can be somewhat similar is what the NFL has done. Every time they've gone out of the country, which they go to London and they send the Jacksonville Jaguars every single time. But when they've gone to Mexico City, they've had huge turnouts. And if there's a stadium that they could do something similar to what they did in LA at a different market like that, that's somewhat closer to the United States and could bring just a better global presence right off the bat. I like Mexico City as a starting point if you want to expand globally.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, they've raced in Mexico City before. That would be cool. Going back to Canada, that'd be cool, too. I guess if we want to think, like, way outside the box, too, maybe they should start targeting some more college football stadiums. Like, I would love to see a race at the freaking Oregon Duck Stadium or the Florida Gators, racing in the swamp. Or
Texas A&M. I think, isn't Kyle Field like the largest capacity stadium in the country? Yeah, that's the 12th
man. They call it the 12th man out there. Yeah, or like Michigan.
Right across from Texas World, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
it's just like, do you think there's an issue with doing this like next to tracks that we already currently race at?
I would argue SMI bulldozes Texas Motor Speedway, sells that land. They could get a pretty penny for it.
Yeah.
And they promote or whatever a race inside of the AT&T Stadium in Arlington where the Cowboys play. I don't know if there's enough room on the actual field, on the actual surface. Now, there you still might have the same problem. That place seats, I don't know, 80, 90,000. I don't think you're going to get 80 or 90,000 people to go to a race at AT&T Stadium, but it'll probably get more people than the 15 or 20,000 that showed up to Texas last fall. So I would say
Jerry Jones's face on a car. We know that much.
Oh my God, Jerry Jones. See, that's the thing. Jerry Jones would think it was such a fun idea. He wouldn't care if he lost money on it. He'd probably pay to host the whole thing himself. He's crazy.
That dude
people we love.
That dude kept Jason Garrett around just because he liked him for 10 years. I think we'd be all right if he liked the idea.
I think Atlanta's similar to that. I love the Texas idea because Texas is awful. But Atlanta's similar in the fact that we went to Atlanta last year and it was just like a ghost town. I know they have the repave and everything. They're trying, but they have a sick football stadium for the Falcons. So
Falcons
I don't know,
but the stadium don't.
There you go.
Isn't that the Butthole Stadium?
Thank you.
What'd you say?
I said thank you, Darian. Falcons do suck.
Yeah, that's like
I'll back you up on that 100,000,000%.
Yeah,
Jared said it's
Jared. Yeah, what'd you say?
Who dat, baby?
Isn't the Falcon Stadium the one that looks like a butt opening up? Like
it's like a spiraling.
More Atlanta Falcons jokes. Yes, as a Saints fan, I'm loving this.
Yeah, it's also Tom Brady's home. Tom Brady owns that stadium. He's been on.
Oh
yeah. I won't bring it back up. My team's in it this week. I don't want to have bad karma, so I won't bring it up too much. Oh yeah, but yeah. So those are some unique ideas. Make it happen, NASCAR. We'll see.
Love it.
Now let's move on to some ratings, the TV ratings, and boy, I have not seen ratings shoot up like this in a very long time. First off, the Clash rating got a 2.32 rating, the highest for a Clash event since 2016. And then in total, 4.2 million people watched this race, the highest for the race since 2016. And it is officially up 168% over last year, according to Adam Stern. And then also, this is a very important statistic, the rating in the key demographic of 18 to 49-year-olds got a 1.083 rating, the highest since 2015. And then a 2.7 rating, 11 share in Los Angeles, the highest for any non-Daytona 500 rating in LA for a NASCAR race since 2016. And also to add more context, it went up head-to-head with two different events, the Winter Olympics and, well, the Pro Bowl. But nobody likes the Pro Bowl, so I guess they had to watch, either the Olympics or NASCAR. So ratings and viewership were virtually even with the NFL and Olympics. So I guess I'll start off with you, Jared. I mean, this is definitely a massive W for NASCAR overall.
Yeah, and the thing about 2016, if I'm not mistaken, is that Clash, because this thing, like some might say, oh, well, that Clash didn't go up against, so it went up against something really big when I went back and looked at the articles about it. That Clash went up against the 2016, I think, Republican debates, which is another huge TV event. And then you have this one who went up against not one big TV event, but two. Like that is proof right there to all of the networks that if you just market the races and push them to people, they will watch. They will watch. Like, I don't want this to be where they just push the Clash to people and then the 500, and then they stop pushing it to the other people that are watching different Fox Sports events. Like, this is proof right here that Fox Sports and NBC Sports need to double down on their advertising, because they can get a lot of money back in their contracts if they put the effort forth that they do for every other sports league.
Yeah, I think the marketing campaign was absolutely phenomenal. And I think they, like you said, they realized that. It went against the Pro Bowl. Darian, you said the Pro Bowl sucks. Yeah, it does. I just will never, ever compare to NFL, any other sport, because NFL trumps everything. People love football. It's not on for most of the season, or most of the year, I should say. So football is just valued way more because it's not like baseball, basketball, hundreds of games, and then NASCAR that goes 10 months as one of the longest seasons of sports as well. So going against the Olympics is tough. So I think it's a massive W. Do you guys know Nick Bromberg? Is that how you say it?
No. Yeah, here we go.
I knew we were going to talk about this.
Explain.
I just don't understand the complaining. I just can't. I just can't understand. I get complaining about the Fox broadcast. That's one thing, because that's the actual production. Like, you want to watch the race and enjoy it. And if the production value is bad, then you're not going to enjoy it as much. But just constantly finding a way to undermine NASCAR in this, it just blows my mind.
Just an angry little guy.
Crazy, man.
He compared NASCAR to, right now to its peak. Like, it totally uncomparable there. Totally uncomparable.
Yeah, absolutely different. The star power is totally different.
Yeah.
You had
the media landscape's so different. There's so much more competition now, not just sports and TV related.
That's basically before social media was like ever a
other
thing.
platforms.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Just
back then, MySpace was popular. And then
shout out to Tom.
I'll point it out right. I'll point it out right here. NRF 18 says in the chat, and this is something that I think a lot of people didn't see, but mainstream would. Pat McAfee even talked about the Clash on his show.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's good.
Like,
that's really
good. That is arguably the #1 sports podcast. I think it is actually, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have the numbers on me. I think it's like
there.
number 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, it's right up there. So for one of the biggest sports podcasts in the world to talk about that is huge. And I see a lot of people like saying, "Oh, nobody watches Pro Bowl." Like, no, you don't get it. Like, NFL, even on a bad day, brings in great ratings.
Yeah.
So to be literally almost virtually even with the NFL, even if it's a Pro Bowl, that's something we couldn't say for the past 15 years. That is a huge deal.
Yeah, football, like I said, football is just so valuable. It doesn't matter who's playing. Like if it is the NFL stamped on it, you're gonna have a lot of people watch it. So
Very rich history.
For NASCAR to go head to head with the NFL in anything is an incredible win. So
we're ready. We got to keep bringing that though. I mean, like that's like, dude, there's no reason. Like I'm a firm believer. If it's happened once, it can happen again. NASCAR was right there for years, man. Like they were right there neck and neck. I mean, they had NFL racing. Like you had the NFL invested in NASCAR. So it's like, why can't that happen again? It can. And I think that we're at the dawn of that right now in this new era. It's just a whole new way. And that's what people have to understand. Like Darian was saying, we're not going to see what we had in the 90s and the 2000s. It's not going to be identical. But this is it. And you got to just open your mind up a little bit. And it's go time.
Yeah. Eric?
Yeah. Like you said, the momentum right now, I think, is on NASCAR's side. Hopefully they don't squander it. They keeps moving forward. My thoughts on the rating were it was a good number. I don't know how much money NASCAR really sunk into this whole deal, so I have no idea what their return on investment is going to turn out to be. We don't know how many fans that either went to or watched this race are actually going to show up to another race this year. All that remains to be seen, but it certainly looks like a success on the surface. Coming in, I didn't know what to expect from the rating. I think at first I was kind of hoping for something in the 5 millions or 6 millions, close to like that Darlington 2020 first race back that got like 6.5 million viewers. And then actually I sat back and thought about it. Well, wait, that race got huge ratings because there was literally no other sports on TV and hadn't been for months. So of course it got huge ratings. This thing had so much competition, direct competition. So to get nearly 4.5 million viewers for an exhibition race, a non-points race after a 3-month-long dry off season, Fox deserves credit, at least from a promotional standpoint. Mm-hmm. NASCAR, Ben Kennedy, they all deserve credit from a industry standpoint, taking the risk to actually build the facility or the track and make everything happen. So all in all, I think it was positive from the amount of fans who showed up, the amount of new fans that showed up, and the amount of fans that apparently watched on TV. I think this has to be a win. And the best part is that the Daytona 500 is next. So we have a real possibility of building on that number in a big, big way, before the West Coast swing when everything naturally is going to drop off a little. But that has me excited.
Exactly.
I'll say with the momentum right now, as long as NASCAR keeps it up, does pretty good. Yeah, I think they'll do pretty good with that. I mean, it feels, and Darian, you were at Daytona with me. If it kind of feels like the way it did before the 500 in 2020, where it was just like, man, everything is going up. I know it's different. A lot of stuff happened. Yeah. But what I'm saying is it's comparable. I would say personally, I think that anything of like 10 million viewers or a little bit over that, I think is realistic for sure with Daytona right now, which would be like some of the highest Daytona ratings, even taking, into account rainouts, but also the ones before that. It'd be like the highest Daytona ratings in a long time. It feels like NASCAR is on that edge right now. Like they've hit that bottom, they've leveled out, and are like, it feels like there's a bit of a spring back up right now. And if Daytona's up, like I think the entire season will be up personally.
Yeah. All professional sports.
Huh?
Like, have they announced musical acts for Daytona or special guests?
I think it's a country artist.
Yeah, I think it's a country artist. Yeah, going back to their bread and butter.
Yeah. What I was going to say was
bread and butter.
All professional sports ratings are down except for NFL. So anytime you see any kind of increase or even remaining flat, I think is a good sign.
Hey, we can celebrate, except if you're Nick Brumberg. No, bad. It's bad or whatever.
Gotta stick with the brand.
Get out of here, guy.
If it's a brand thing, I get it. He's got to stick to his guns. But I mean, dear God, like that's some dedication.
No, but the rest of us,
guns aren't loaded.
Yeah, the rest of us will celebrate this W. But now we are bringing back a segment I have missed on the podcast for a very long time. The poll! The famous Iceberg poll! Ooh. Jarrett, how many people voted on your first poll of 2022?
We had just over 13,500 votes. So not a record by any means, but way, way higher than last year's Clash and a lot of the early races last year. So that's a good sign. 28% of voters said that this was a great race. 50% said it was good. So a net positivity is 78%. 14% said average. 5% said it was below average and 4% said it was bad. So a net negativity of 9. There's some pretty good comments in here too. Everyone really showed out. Denny Delivers, of course, is the top comment. Says the main feature race, mostly calms and smooth sailing. Ty Dillon, I was robbed of choosing violence on the field.
Wow. A Shakespearean tragedy.
Yeah.
And then this one's from Evan Nucula. He says, Phelps and O'Donnell may not be very great, but man, hey, you know what? I'm saying his words. I'm not.
I just love the way you
None of
practice.
this is on the record.
These guys
None of
might
it's on the record.
suck,
Kind
but
of a backhanded compliment.
They really took the sport to extreme. Brian France would never have done this.
well, he would have found a way to make it worse.
Yeah.
He would take a joyride with Alvin Kamara.
Oh, too soon.
Oh,
Whoa, we'll get to
outta
that.
here.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Let's see. Tank Slapper says those composite bodies worked really good on this short track. They were all beating and banging, and half the cars didn't even look like they were damaged. And no cut tires.
No.
That was a big thing. No flat tires was huge.
Let's scroll down. I want to see if we can get a few of them that we don't usually get here. 05 Racer says, being there, and that was my first NASCAR race. This was amazing. Eric, is that a plant?
No, I don't think so. Hey, I'm just telling you, the big screen was popping in ways I've never seen it pop before. I don't know. Maybe it was just new fans. Maybe it was genuine enthusiasm. I'm gonna get off that. I'm not you guys know I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, come on, Nick Bromberg. Let's keep it positive.
Christian Roberts says it was one of the best races he's ever been to. I swear, I'm looking for the negative comments, guys.
I was gonna say it was like a top 3 event for me personally, and I've been to hundreds of races. I think it was a top 3 event ever that I've been to.
Let's see. Slow Motion says, imagine telling someone a year ago that Ryan Preece would win a last chance qualifier race to get into the main event at the Clash in the LA Coliseum in a Rick Ware car.
Yeah. Hey, props to them. They're improving their program.
I think it's weird, real quick, that Rick Ware Racing reverse course in like 2 years. They went from, we're just going to buy all the cars. We're going to have 4 teams. They're all going to suck, but we have the spots. To now, 1 year later, oh no, we're going to sell the cars. We're going to focus on 2 cars so we can be a lot better. Like, they had a completely reversed business strategy overnight.
And they went over to IndyCar as well and got a
like all of a sudden they woke up one day and said, you know what? Quality over quantity. Let's do it, y'all. And now
but here's another thing. They bought the charters when they were really cheap and no one was trying to get into the sport. And then they came back and sold them when the values absolutely skyrocketed.
That's a fair point.
Business.
That's a fair point. That's
Cash
a
cash in.
Why everybody was shitting on them, pardon my French, for the lack of speed, and they had a plan. I really think that Rick
They
Ware
saw this wave coming.
Yep, they had a
years
good
away.
plan. They were
Planned this
prepping
whole
for this
time.
moment, and I think we're going to see a big uptick in performance.
Hey,
Stonks.
Go ahead, Jared. Go ahead.
Well, real quick, I'll do this one, then we'll go to what the first comment was, because we all know the bottom comment will be negative.
Yeah.
Hutchie51 says racing honestly gets an A, Fox gets an F minus.
Oh yeah, no, it's
Not the minus.
I'll give him a D plus because Tony Stewart was good. I'll give him a D plus.
All right, now I got to scroll through about 450 comments to get to that first one. While I'm doing this, I want you guys to guess, will it be positive or negative?
Negative.
Oh, it's always negative.
Negative.
People thumb that down.
All the time.
All right, the first comment is from Fake
Nick
Super.
Bromberg.
No.
Where's it from?
No. Fake Super.
Oh god.
Did anyone changing their guess?
No,
he's
negative.
gonna trash it.
Yeah.
That incident with Larson and Haley still pisses me off.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's it.
We don't even know whose side he's on. I assume he's on Haley's
I'm
side.
assuming,
I just-
yeah.
Well, I'll check the responses.
He's an open book.
This is his response to someone. This isn't even short track racing at this point. It's just Larson doing stupid moves. So I think we know what side he's on.
All right.
Damn, it doesn't like Larson too much lately. Damn. Oh.
So yeah, that was a poll, and you can vote for those after every race this season. I'll put mine out as soon as I can after the 500, Wi-Fi permitting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm glad to have the famous Iceberg poll back on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now we have reached, we are 8 minutes over the top of the hour. So now it's time to get to Super Chats. Can somebody start a timer for me? 3 minutes.
I got you.
All right. Thank you very much. For the first 2 Super Chats, we're going to be going back to some that we missed last week. I don't know. YouTube was I haven't started yet. Yeah, but
all right, I'll reset.
Yeah. But YouTube was messing up last week, so if we didn't get to y'all super chats last week, we apologize. It was just malfunctioning or whatever. We're just having so many issues. But okay. All right, let's start in 3, 2, 1. Let's roll. TVP_83 whipped the $100 super chat last week. Season 5, we're back, baby. Let's go. P.S. Who day? So he is going with the Bengals. I actually DM'd him too. Yeah, he's going with the Bengals for sure.
Go Bengals.
Elite Precision 29 with the $20 super chat. Welcome back, guys. 2022 is the most curious I've been going into a season since 2008. Thank God NASCAR dumped the 550 horsepower downforce package. Hope they stop listening to the crowd that judge races by intervals and amount of cars on the lead lap. Yes, I think they're definitely ears are definitely wide open. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens this year, but it is looking promising. It's looking very promising. Okay, so I will refresh my super chat thing on my desktop. All right, here we go. Zach with the $20 super chat. So how credible do you think the champion will be this year with limited cars being built and some concern about parts breaking in the race? Or do you think this won't be a factor at all about who the champion is? Yeah, I again, let's not speculate until we're around, 9 races in. I think it's way too early.
6 to 9 races.
Yeah, 6 to 9 races.
Nice.
Yes, nice. But, it could be a factor. It might not be a factor. So we'll just have to wait and see how it unfolds. Nicholas with the $5 super chat. Great meeting you, Eric. Question. If I didn't mention this, how cramped did you feel in your seats? Those seats were tight together. How cramped were you, Eric?
I didn't feel that tight. I had people on either side of me. I mean, better than most other stadiums I've been to, actually. So I was pleased.
Okay. And then Alan with the 2 $5 super chats. One says nothing, but the other says Jar Jar is a meme. Yes, sir, he is. We see him weekly, every time in the chat. That's great. And then Alex with the $5 super chat. I'll be honest, with all of these reports of the next-gen shortages, I wouldn't be surprised if we have to go back to the Gen 6 in some races like in 07. Whoa, I mean, that's too early.
The teams have already sold their Gen 6.
They're gone. They're super gone.
Yeah, they're long gone,
It's not possible.
Yeah, no, they're long gone, bro.
Better chance of them running Xfinity cars than a Gen 6 at this point.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, the chance is still 0, but it's like 0.0001.
So tell me it's a chance.
Right. And then Alex with the $20 super chat. I remember seeing Justin Haley in an ARCA car at Phoenix in like 2015, and he was leading but cut a tire. Seeing Justin in the Clash, I got a flashback to that day. Do you think Justin gets his second career win this year? Hey, it's possible. I mean, like we saw a lot of parity in the opening race this year. Hey, anything's possible.
It's possible.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how the season unfolds. And then Gavin with the $2 super chat. What has been your favorite paint scheme so far? Ooh, I mean,
Keselowski's purple car.
Yeah,
this week.
I'd have to say Keselowski's. Yeah, it sucks he didn't make the main in that car, but yeah. Did you say time?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So we will get to the rest of the super chats after the show. Well, not after the show. We'll be done. Well, later on in the show. So yeah, thank you guys so much for sending in y'all super chats. Very thankful, and yeah, let's keep the show moving. And let's actually transition. Yep, time for our another ad read. This podcast is brought to you by Lionel Racing, the official diecast of NASCAR. Order the new 2022 diecast of your favorite NASCAR driver now at lionelracing.com or any authorized Lionel retailer. So let's show off our diecast really quick for a moment, guys. What have you guys brought out this week?
So I know we didn't tell our guests that we usually show off our diecast at this point in the show, but I see Chase at least has a lot to pick from. I'm going with this is Chase Elliott's All-Star win car from Bristol a couple years ago. I picked it. I've shown it off before, but I picked it because UniFirst signed, I think, a 5 or 6 year extension today. So figured I'd at least give them and Hendrick Motorsports a shout out. That's cool to see.
And I have Jason Leffler's rookie car from the NASCAR Busch Series 2000. And I always love showing this one off. I think I got it, I believe, at Daytona last year. And this is one of those schemes that I would always love to see in a throwback race, especially the silver. And hey, maybe if the teams wanted, they could do chrome on it. I don't know.
Hey, gone too soon, Jason Leffler. R.I.P. to left turn. So this diecast is very interesting. Jared bought it for me. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. So this is an Adam Petty Busch Series rookie diecast from 1999. But what's unique about this is that it has the Spree sponsored colors, but this diecast was made right after Spree had left and Sprint had joined them. So Sprint was still running this paint scheme for the rest of the 1999 Busch Series season, even after they took over. So they were still running the Spree colors. So this is, I think even Brock Beard pointed out on Twitter that this is sort of a rare one. So amazing find, Jared. Really appreciate it. So thank you.
Problem.
All right. So who's next? Dale or Chase? Which one do y'all want to go?
You guys have cars?
I'll let Dale go, but I've got something.
I love that car, Dale. I've seen that
Yeah,
car. I love it.
2004 Michigan race number 2. I think it was Greg Biffle's second career win.
Mm-hmm.
I was obsessed with this car. It was also, I believe it was Carl Edwards' first ever start. Carl Edwards had the Green Lantern car.
Yeah.
And he finished like 10th. But Greg Biffle won this race, and I was obsessed with this paint scheme when I was a kid. So there we go. I love it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, for me, as you can tell, there are a lot of diecasts here in this home, but I feel like I would be doing injustice. I'd like to bid mine off to the person that owns these. I'm gonna let Buddy Pauly show off his favorite NASCAR, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's see
All
it.
right, here we go. Here's the diecast. Here he is, special guest.
What's up, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
Howdy.
place. Obviously, lots of Lionel diecast here. I'm gonna show off the Millennial car.
Oh my
it
God.
didn't exist.
Special place in my heart. I was at that race, so watched him finish second. He got a trophy for trying, so my favorite by far.
I got the Gen X
Back
car at
over
home.
to Chase. Thanks for having me.
That's cool. Thank
Bye,
you.
buddy.
Thanks,
for
thanks,
showing
buddy.
us.
Hey, it's me. I'm back. This car is hot though.
It is. It's really hot.
No, it's not, Darian. What are you doing?
no, I'm just freaking.
No, I got the Gen. I think the Gen X one is better personally.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a
I
crazy
agree.
car. But yeah, so again, dude, don't miss Lionel Racing's NASCAR Authentics Diecast thing at a Walmart near you. Thank you so much to Lionel Racing for sponsoring the NASCAR Weekly Podcast and the Out of the Groove Network. Oh man, so we haven't done this on my channel in a while. Ooh, I think it's about that time. Oh yeah, it's working again. Let's go. And once again, we have reached the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jared, what do we have on tap tonight?
Darian, what do your new neighbors think of you yelling about the lightning
I don't know.
round?
They're upstairs. I don't know. I blast music here all the time, so I haven't gotten any complaints. So I think
You're that neighbor.
Just keep doing it till they call the cops.
You're right.
All day.
Yeah, I'm good.
Well, so we don't have too awful much in the lightning round, but what we do have is good stuff, or at least interesting stuff. So the first one that was announced very quickly around the time of the show last week was that NASCAR has informed the teams that there will be no political campaign or PAC sponsorships allowed in NASCAR anymore, according to Bob
Yay.
Pockrass.
No more toxic fans.
Right. Dude, it's NASCAR.
Yeah.
According to Jordan Bianchi, there's a strong likelihood that NASCAR's next TV deal will end up surpassing the previous record-setting one that they have now. JJ Yaley will be driving the 55 MBM car at the Daytona 500, according to Toby Christie. And then we referenced this earlier. NASCAR's growth and engagement officer and New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara has been arrested for assault and battery in Las Vegas on Saturday night.
Not good.
A messy situation. I don't think NASCAR or even the Saints have put out a statement yet. So
why would NASCAR? They're just
well,
brush it to the
I'm
side
not
and
saying
hope no one notices.
NASCAR wouldn't be the first, but it just it's certainly a very messy situation he's in.
And then Ford, the Fords will have a small tweak to their noses done. Preseason wind tunnel testing showed that Fords had been a little bit too far ahead of Toyota and Chevrolet for comfort for NASCAR, and also potentially had more drag at super speedways, which has already gotten people online saying, well, the other ones need to get better. And I love that because I love hearing the manufacturer fans go back and forth. Something's been missing in the sport for the past 10 or so years.
Hey, Ford needs all the help after last year, so
It sounds like they got a little more help than NASCAR wanted them to.
I've been saying I think Ford is going to have the most incredible year this year. I feel like they've been ahead of the 8 ball. There's a reason they weren't that great last year. They've been focusing on this car.
Well, and then one last thing really quick for the lightning round tonight. Premier Sports will be broadcasting the entire Truck Series season now in the UK, along with their Cup and Xfinity coverage. So for our UK listeners out there on Spotify and online, I hope that's good news for you guys. I'm assuming it would be, but for all I know, because I don't watch Premier Sports, it might be the same way that we've used Fox Sports. But if it's a good thing, good.
Yeah.
Truck
but
Night
it's
in
not.
America better than Formula One, confirmed.
For sure.
But Darren, that's it. Blow out your mic again.
And once again, that'll do it for another edition of the Lightning Round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. And now, back to the show.
The lightning round is sponsored by our third and final partner, Forney Industries. Get it done with green. Forney offers a full line of welding and plasma cutting machines, metalworking accessories, and much more. Great for do-it-yourselfers, or if you're a professional metalworker even, Forney has everything you need for your next project. So shop Forney's top-of-the-line products at ForneyInd.com. Or check them out at an authorized Forney dealer near you. Look for that green Forney logo. Link is down in the description below. Thanks to Forney for sponsoring the podcast.
Yes, thank you guys so much. And now let's get back to some topics before we get into some of our playoff predictions. And let's just say some of us have some very unique ones. I'll just leave it at that.
Right, playoff preview.
Yeah,
I'm
playoff
excited.
preview. We're gonna get into that. First off, we had some news that went on the wire right before the show even started. Trevor Bayne, he's back for a limited time for a part-time deal. Trevor Bayne lands a part-time ride with Joe Gibbs Racing in Xfinity. Adam Stern and Bob Cockris both reported a 7-race deal beginning at Auto Club, and then wait, how do you say this? Devotion.
Devotion.
Oh, Devotion.
Nutrition.
Devotion. Okay. Yeah, Devotion Nutrition will be his sponsor for all 7 races. And then finally, this is a interesting stat. His last Xfinity start was in 2016, and he last made 8 Truck Series starts during the 2020 season. Jared, I'll start off with you. I mean, like, you don't really expect too much from Trevor Bayne, but at least at least he's back in the Cup, or not in the Cup Series, in the Xfinity Series for a limited time, I guess.
So I like Trevor Bayne as a personality, and he seems like a really nice guy. Every time I've had the chance to meet him, he's always been very nice. But at the same time, I don't understand a lot of fans being like, man, Trevor Bayne is going to be, winning every race. Like, maybe he might win a race. It's good equipment, but it's like, I don't really expect him to set the world on fire the way that a lot of people are. Yeah. I hope he does, but I don't expect him to, personally.
Yeah, I think he's just along for the ride. I feel like, if he at least gets, 7 top 10s, that'll be a good thing. He might get into, a couple of accidents, a couple of missteps here and there. But, yeah, I don't expect him to light the world on fire. But it would be cool if he raced Daytona again, if he wins. It'd be like, happy birthday, Trevor Bayne, 31 years old this time. In the broadcast.
The thing here is he's in winning equipment. I mean, he's in equipment that won the championship last year. Granted, Daniel Hemrick only won 1 race, but Kyle Busch dominated, Ty Gibbs dominated when they had opportunities. So, I mean, this is a true test. Drivers, I know he's kind of been, like you said, he started a few races for Nice in the Truck Series, and I think he may have raced for GMS once or twice. So a lot of drivers hit their primes, in their early mid-30s. So the craziest thing to me is seeing people already jump the gun and say this is the next AJ Allmendinger comeback. Like, I mean, come on. Like, it's a great story.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people.
What?
I'm telling you. That was one of the first things I saw. And it could be a good story. But Trevor Bayne, I don't know if he's trying to get back into full-time competition with this, or if this is just kind of fulfilling a void that he hasn't raced a lot in the past few years. So it's an interesting dynamic here with a guy that didn't succeed in Cup, in a winning car now, a very, very fast winning car. Jason Ratcliffe is a crew chief, plenty of experience there. So I think if he's trying to get back into full-time competition, whether it's Cup, Xfinity, Trucks, he needs to win. He needs to win one of these 7 races.
Yeah.
He's marching towards colleague.
Yeah.
Following Hemrick, following that, he's going down that same ride.
Hey, there's your AJ Allmendinger.
There's
AJ Allmendinger path.
There you go.
Yeah.
He wants to be in part of the family, the colleague family.
The family. Yes, the family. That's right. I don't know. Again, I don't really expect him to do too much. Maybe this is just, one last hoorah. Then, he'll go out on his own terms and stuff. He runs a coffee shop, too. I thought he was, mostly just busy with that. But no, I mean.
He's a
he wants to
barista?
race. Yeah. He has his own coffee shop, apparently out here in Tennessee. I think
In
Nashville.
Yeah.
I think it's in Nashville. Maybe it's Knoxville. I
Yeah,
remember,
yeah,
he
I think
started it
Knoxville,
right
yeah.
after he left NASCAR.
Trevor Bayne, Speed Coffee.
Yeah. So,
I don't know. I like Trevor Bayne. Like you said, Jarrett, he's a nice guy. Want him to do well. this might be the most competitive car he's ever been in NASCAR, arguably. I mean, maybe some of his old Roush Xfinity cars were pretty good, but I think this is arguably the best. So what stood out to me, though, is the fact that he is only 30 years old. He's about to turn 31. Like,
he's still young.
I mean, that's at the same age as Daniel Hemrick, who just won a championship and is maybe still trying to make a full-time career out of it. I mean, he is. He's going full-time Xfinity this year. So, sure, he could still have a place in NASCAR long-term. I don't expect it, but I don't know. These 7 races, maybe he wins one of them. I don't know. Trevor Bayne's nice guy. Nice guys can get a certain distance in NASCAR. They can land sponsors. They can get a competitive ride here and there, but it's not going to last forever unless he wins. And I don't see him. At best, he wins one race in that car. Like, I think about like what Ty Dillon did last year. He had a few starts in the Joe Gibbs car, and he was fast. He also made a lot of mistakes and looked kind of bad. And I think of Ty Dillon and Trevor Bayne as being kind of in a similar tier. I don't know. So I don't expect huge things from Trevor Bayne in these 7 starts, but it will be nice to see him on track in something competitive. And what stood out to me the most, though, is that he's in the 18. That means, at least according to reports, Ty Gibbs will be in the 54 full-time this year, which I think is interesting. It means that I don't have to replace my Ty Gibbs t-shirt just yet. It's still up to date. Yeah. But I don't know. Joe Gibbs is going to have an interesting lineup next year. Who else runs that 18 car? Since we know Kyle Busch is retired, remains to be seen. But I don't know. I don't have high expectations for.
I think I don't either. But I think if there's a time, it's right now, because there's no Team Penske in Xfinity as far as we know, not coming back. You have a lot of inexperienced guys like Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, and others moving up into the series. Josh Berry, first full-time season. So I think it's a good time. And like you said, Kyle Busch probably not coming back to Xfinity after hitting the 3-figure mark on wins. So if there's a time to kind of have an edge in the competition, it's now, because Trevor Bayne's got the experience running full-time Cup for 4 or 5 years with Roush and running Xfinity prior to that.
Yeah. That's a great point. Like, the Xfinity field is stacked this year from 10th through 25th. It's like, it's super stacked. A lot of good, maybe mid-pack teams coming in there, but top of the field with no Penske, I don't know.
It's a toss-up.
It's a little more sparse, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, possibly the resurrection of Trevor Bayne happening, or he's just perhaps happy to be there. So we'll see. Either way, it's great to have Trevor Bayne back in NASCAR. Okay, so as you guys know, we have no race this weekend. Can't really go over, can't really do our race picks and that sort of thing. But what we can do is our very own way too early playoff predictions, or preseason playoff predictions. I guess we could call it that. So Jarrett, you have them written down. So how are we?
Do you want me to?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm wondering. I could read each person's off if they want to, then justify some of them. Let's be real. The ones that we all agree on for the most part are Larson, Harvick, Elliott, Hamlin, Blaney, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Logano, Byron, Bowman, and then for the most part, Bell and Reddick make up the majority of the brackets that we have. So like those 12 or so drivers, most of us agree for the most part, or it kind of swings for the most part both ways. Same with Austin Dillon. Him and Tyler Reddick have been the ones that are like just switch back and forth.
So I'll go first. So we agree.
Justify your other ones.
We agree on about the same 10 or 11, all the obvious ones. But my kind of wild card picks, I have Kurt Busch, Reddick, Austin Dillon, Brad Keselowski, and who's in the one this year? Chastain. I just wrote down numbers. Ross Chastain. I have Chastain making it. I think Trackhouse is going to make it. I know this weekend at the Clash, Suarez looked okay. Chastain did not, but I'm not going to put too much stock in what happened in the Clash. Same goes for RCR. They were really fast. I'm not going to put too much stock in that, but I do feel good about both Austin Dillon and Tyler Reddick making it. Dillon's always consistent. He's not necessarily going to win any races, but I think he'll be consistent enough to put himself in position. Reddick, maybe a little more inconsistent. He's younger, a little more aggressive, but I think he wins a race this year for sure. So I think he gets in. Kurt Busch, I think TRD, that alone is going to be enough to get him over the finish line, make the playoffs. The one that I'm kind of nervous about, honestly more nervous than the Chastain pick, is Brad Keselowski. I think he'll make it because the next gen is sort of an equalizer and he's a championship caliber driver. But I said I wasn't going to put too much stock in the Clash. Both Roush cars missed the main event by a wide margin. They weren't even close. It almost looked like they were just riding around to try and conserve parts. I don't know. Maybe that was all it was. Maybe they actually had more speed and were just sandbagging. That's what I can hope for, because it looks like after this weekend, RFK has ways to go. So I'm a little worried about that one, but I'll stick with it for the time being.
So outside of my, usual suspects, I guess in my bottom four, and Jarrett, you can see if I'm right on this because like I think I kind of remember my list or whatever. So, I had Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon, both of the RCR cars in there, and then for my final two, I even made a last minute adjustment. So I had Kurt Busch in there, barely squeezing his way into the playoffs, and then for my final pick, I had Austin Cindric at first, but then I made a last-minute change. I'm feeling Chase Briscoe here. Hey, call me crazy. I'm feeling Chase Briscoe, man. He had a horrible season last year. Not really his fault. He was just a rookie. I mean, he still won Rookie of the Year. So, I mean, that's good. So
Default.
Yeah, by default. Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, still walked away with Rookie of the Year. Was a tough season for the team as a whole, but they have been saving up for this moment. I mean, we even saw in the first race this year at the Clash. I mean, yeah, it's just a Clash, but I mean, hey, he was running in the top 5 at a short track, so maybe that speed might transition over to the regular season. We never know. I mean, now for Austin Cindric, I mean, again, I'm not judging this based off of him being a wrecking ball in the Clash and stuff like that, but I was thinking about this. It's a brand new car. He's a rookie. These road course races, they're not going to be as guaranteed as some people think they are. These road course wins. So that's why I had to take him out and put Chase Briscoe in. I think he'll have a massive improvement in 2022.
So for my bottom four, the ones that I had were Reddick, Cindric, Briscoe, and Bubba. And I think I need to justify the Bubba Wallace one the most. That comes out of the fact of how last year he had and this is not just the Talladega win, it's the performance in general, as well as the chemistry with his new crew chief. He had a huge upward trend. I don't know. My brain farted there.
He's on the upward trend.
Yeah, I had a brain fart there. But he had a very good end to the season, and it coincided with Booty Barker coming along. The two had really good chemistry. There was nowhere near as much fighting as there was over the radio beforehand. We all kind of knew that last year was going to be slow to start, but probably was going to be kind of a gap year leading up to the next gen car. You can't really say too much about the Clash. But at the same time, he did look competitive. The 45 looked competitive. So the equipment is there. I will say this. I would, if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, or if he doesn't run comparable to how Kurt Busch is, and Kurt Busch does amazing, there needs to be a lot of questions about not just the team, but especially the driver too. This is the put it up year for Bubba Wallace. This is the one where, in my opinion, you don't have all the excuses coming out that you could justify last year. This is the put up or shut up year for him, in my opinion.
To be clear, you have Bubba making it, but Kurt missing.
Yes. I think Kurt Busch honestly is slowly but surely been going down in performance last couple of years. I think he'll be right on the line. But at the same time, I don't exactly see him setting the world on fire by any means. Last year, he was really in no means a competitive team whatsoever, except for select races.
Except for Atlanta, really. I mean,
yeah.
He always wins one race a year.
Yeah, that's why I
could
have
be in
him
the
in,
playoffs
because he's consistent with that respect. But I look at Bubba Wallace and I kind of disagree. I don't. If Bubba Wallace doesn't run as well as Kurt Busch this year, I don't hold that. I mean, I hold that against him. That's just he's not as good of a driver. But I won't panic. You know what I'm saying? I fully expect Kurt to be a little better than Bubba Wallace this year. Now, if he's 10 spots, 15 spots better, then yeah, we have a problem. But if Kurt sneaks into the playoffs like the last spot or the second last spot and Bubba ends up 18th in points, I'm not going to lose. I think, yeah, sure, Bubba Wallace still has room to evolve and grow. That's what that would tell me. But that wouldn't, make him look like a bust, at least in my opinion. So I look at their dynamics slightly differently. I expect Kurt to outrun Bubba. And if it flips this year, if Bubba outruns Kurt, I will be very, I guess, pleasantly surprised because I do want to see Bubba do well.
Yeah, he's going to start backing up. I just want to go ahead and say, I mean, I'll name some of mine. I mean, you guys pretty much covered a lot of my guys. I have like Briscoe. I think he showed some promise in road course racing. And of course, he's got the dirt background. So that's kind of a big reason that I like him. And I just feel like he's got like this like really nice guy version of Tony Stewart-esque to him. Obviously, there's that correlation there. So I think he's going to have a great year. Reddick as well. Jared, I love your Bubba pick. I actually have Kurt and Bubba Both in mind. I think that Toyota's going to probably figure this thing out a little bit down the line. I mean, like big dogs are going to eat Joe Gibbs. They're going to pass that information along. Denny's not going to leave his boys hanging out to dry. And the main thing with me for Bubba, Bubba got the win last year in Talladega. It was under caution. He's hungry. He wants that win all the way through. I mean, depending on how these cars go, if it's off raw talent, one track that Bubba Wallace is really good at, and I've been big on this for a long time now, Martinsville. That win has got to come. He's got to get that cup win at Martinsville. This could be the year for that. And it just all depends on how they stack that car up. But going outside of the lines from where you guys are, there are a couple of other guys that I have on my list that are very far-fetched to most people. I got to start with my boy Ricky Stenhouse Jr. All right. It's one car, JTG, dirt race. He's in. He finished second last year. This is his primetime chance. Man's got the dirt background. It's going to be him or Larson or Logano's going to do some wizardry like he did last year and figure it out. So I just really feel like we're going to see one of the dirt guys win this thing this year, and Ricky was being right there. And it's time. Like, JTG is so due. They're so due. Like, they need it. And so I feel like that's got to happen. And another guy that I had, where I talked about Keselowski, and honestly, I think you guys have pretty much covered everybody else. So I guess Stenhouse was really my big difference.
Chat's reacting to that. They're like, "Whoa, that's bold. I can't believe."
I mean, I like your logic, but I
do.
feel like that's too much pressure to put on one race, on the dirt race of all races. Like,
We have to win the dirt race, or it's over.
Baby. That's what we do.
I like it, but I also don't like it. I don't like it that much.
So I think we touched on it. I have both. I'll start with. I do have both Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin cars getting in, just because I'm a firm believer in TRD. I just think they've built enough last year to where they're going to compete well this year. I actually think Kurt Busch is going to have a great year. I think that may be an unpopular opinion because, like you said, Jarrett, he is kind of trending downward statistically, but Ganassi wasn't all there either, I feel like, in the past couple of years. But so I got both Bubba Wallace and Kurt Busch in. I think Bubba Wallace has a good chance of winning at super speedways. He's been really strong at the super speedways, especially the last couple of races of last year. I also have Chris Buescher in. I like what Chris Buescher – this is, to me, a make or break year for Chris Buescher, at least this year or next year. I think they've built something decent at Roush with him. I actually think he's going to get in, and I think Brad Keselowski will not make it. I think Chris Buescher wins at a super speedway because the statistics are pointing to – I guess a good way to put it is I like the guys that are seemingly always are finding themselves surviving at the end of races. Those are the kind of guys that eventually get into victory lane, like Michael McDowell. If you go look at his trend towards his Daytona 500 victory, he kept finding himself in the top 5, top 10 in the final laps, and he was in the right place at the right time in 2021, and that translated into a Daytona 500 win and a playoff berth. I think McDowell, Almirola will see some regression. They won't make it. I don't have Austin Cindric. I don't think Ricky Stenhouse is a far-fetched thing because I do also believe that they'll gain a little bit more of an advantage from losing the 37 car, which struggled mightily over the past couple seasons with Ryan Preece. So I think I don't have Ricky in, but I think if there's somebody that could get in that I don't have in it, it would be him or Chase Briscoe, which I have Briscoe like right on that bubble. I don't have Chastain or Suarez in. I think Trackhouse is a year away from legitimate competition. I think Suarez has a chance to win one of these wild card races, but right now, like I said, I think they're a year away. But I have both RCR cars, and I think it's a breakout year for Tyler Reddick. Just being around him and spending time with him at the racetrack, his energy levels are just ridiculous. His confidence levels are through the roof. He's turned into a super athlete from how he looked a couple of years ago. He's lost a lot of weight. Yes.
Shout out to Red Dog.
He's put in a lot of work, and I really
he's not eating those croissants at Cheddar's.
Yeah.
You know that they may say
he's eating hot
not.
dogs though, bro.
He's at least cut
the jumbo dog before that clash, bro.
Wait, the jumbo dog that cost like $10 at the clash?
Dude, bro.
Yeah,
he
got the money.
He's getting down with the hot dogs. I told him it's hot dog season. Run it.
That's
But yeah, those are my. I guess that's really everything that excludes like the big, the heavy hitters. I one thing I hate. I just want to say I did have Joey Logano not winning a race this year, but making the playoffs. So I think it was Jarrett that said it earlier. I do think that him winning the Clash could translate to some of the short tracks, and that could be scary for the competition because he runs really well at Richmond already. And I think Richmond has similar characteristics to what the Clash had at the Coliseum. So could be wrong on that one. And I just want to say Kyle Busch is going to win the championship this year. That's it.
Oh, okay. Well, early prediction there. Early championship
Well,
prediction.
Very early.
Yeah.
Check the futures.
Should I? Would you guys be down if I read off Danny's 16-man grid?
Yeah, sure. Let's hear
sure.
that. He's probably got Bowman winning the championship, but let's hear it.
No, he's got Bowman being eliminated in the first round. Yeah, that's how he is.
Oh yeah.
Well,
reverse jigs. That's right.
We got Larson, Truex, Hamlin, Elliott, Keselowski, Blaney, Logano, Kyle Busch, William Byron, Alex Bowman, Kurt Busch, Christopher Bell, Daniel Suarez, Kevin Harvick, Chase Briscoe, and Austin Cindric.
No Reddick. Did he not have Reddick or
Yeah,
Dylan?
No. He is the only one of any of us that did not pick an RCR.
Danny, get in here right now. We got to talk.
Darian, you just made a meme with your face.
Took a
Danny about it.
A bad week to go on vacation, Danny.
Yeah, somebody meme that face I just did. Put it on Twitter or whatever. I'll retweet it. But, yeah.
I just saw it.
But no, that's crazy, man. And not a single RCR car. I mean, they're on the rise again, Danny. Come on now.
Danny's head's in wherever he's vacationing. That's what's happening.
It's that California air.
He's still in LA. He's still got that. The air is doing something to him. But nah. So those are some way too early playoff predictions. Thank you guys so much for giving me y'all's predictions. And yeah. Okay, so let's read off the final super chats we got tonight. We had a lot going.
A reminder, we have a cool announcement at the end of the show, and then there's also something cool Darian has planned to show us after the super chat. So
yes.
Just saying.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I see it. I forgot.
Got
what it was
surprise.
for a moment.
What's a surprise?
I forgot what it was for a moment, and then I was
There
like,
you
"Oh
just-
yeah, I read it."
You got it.
All right, so let's read off the rest of these super chats tonight. Let's go. Philip Richards with the $2 super chat. Matt Colleague is literally NASCAR's Josh Brolin. That's a random one. That's an actor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Josh
Yeah,
Brolin?
Yeah.
I just think of
Like the
Thor.
Christian singer?
No, like the guy who played Thanos.
Thor or Thanos. I said Thor. Yeah,
okay.
Thanos.
There's a Christian singer named Josh Brolin, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh Brolin's a pretty big actor.
Yeah, but that's a random
I don't
one.
get it.
Yeah, that's a random
2
one.
and 2.
But
I'm
thank you,
old,
Philip.
I forget.
Thank you, Philip. Isaac with the $5 super chat. Between veterans complaining about lack of respect from young drivers and all the carnage last Sunday, could this year be the breaking point? Oh, between veterans and the young guns? Oh, yeah. I could see that. Yeah.
Could.
Some of these veterans, man.
We need to see more, I think.
Yeah, we had to see a little bit more, but I mean, we have seen moments where the veterans are like, "Oh, the driving etiquette's so bad." So, hey, you never know the potential.
I think Austin Cindric's going to ruffle a lot of feathers this year. I really do. I think that will translate.
Yeah, I can see that. And then BFM Mom. Hi, Mom. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Do you think Bubba used up his car and that's why he couldn't perform when it came down to it? I mean, he didn't really have the fastest car to begin with anyways. Like, he kind of just like...
He did seem to have more short run speed in the heat races.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But he was not going to be a contender for sure. Jake Baskinger with the $2 super chat. What's up, Jake? I am Steve Phillips, president
Phelps.
Oh my god.
Did Jake misspell it? Or
No, I've just been my brain.
Who did the
Rick
Rick rolling? The Rick rolling was good.
I am Steve Phelps, president of NASCAR. I get the reference.
Oh,
I
yeah.
get what you're talking about. If you're on NASCAR Twitter, you know. If you know, you know.
I get it now too.
PTM Billy with the $2 super chat. Any places I should go to while in Daytona? I mean, we've been around Daytona Beach. It's not the best town. I don't know. It's not the best to be there. I mean, Chase, what do you suggest? You've been there.
Orlando.
Coyote Ugly if you're 21 and older.
I was about to say, is he 21?
Nightclubs in the downtown area. We have big fun in Daytona. Come see us in Daytona.
Also, there's a couple cool vintage shops like right by the beach. I think one is called like NASCAR 2000 or something.
NASCAR 2000. There's Moxie Vintage. It's a clothing store. I've got my Dodge Motorsports shirt from there. It's sick. And so they got a good selection as well.
It's kind of overpriced, but it's cool. It's cool to go in and look. There's one like incredible diecast shop. So I think it's called NASCAR 2000. It's like right on the beach. That's what I'd recommend.
That's cool. That's cool. Joe with the $10 super chat. Joey Logano and Kyle Busch lapped Ryan Blaney at the end, and Blaney didn't do anything to help Joey. To the point, commentary pointed it out. Is that a talking point? I mean, Ryan Blaney was just moving out the way. That's why. I mean, he's not.
He was off the pace. He had damage. He had mechanical issues. He was just too slow to do anything.
If anything, the commentary and especially the fan base probably would have been pissed if he tried.
I thought he was just out there hunting Eric Jones down. Yeah. That's what I thought. I didn't know what else he was doing.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna.
He wasn't gonna. That's not really an appropriate track. I feel like to hold someone up either. Yeah, I mean, that's like Blaney has good etiquette.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then Maddie Money 25 with the $5 super chat. Hey guys, any of you going to Coda? My dad just surprised me with tickets for my birthday. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for putting on a great show. Much love from Pittsburgh. Oh wow, so you guys are going to be fun.
Are you coming from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, from Pittsburgh all the way to Coda. Nice.
Got to get to that warm weather, I guess, in March. Yeah.
Coda is a
go-kart track.
Coda's an awesome place.
Yeah, Coda's an awesome place. Me and Jared went there last year. The rain kept slapping us, but besides that, it was an awesome experience there. So that's definitely a maybe. We might return there.
I'm going.
Or Jared's definitely.
It's just down the road. I'll be there.
Yeah, so is Eric. And then Anter Das with the $5 super chat. Honestly, the Clash gave me a weird sensation as a fan. I'm not sure if it's good or not. I think we need one more year of it to see if it's golden. Yeah, I mean, like, this could be one of those things where is this type of Clash racing going to be sustainable over time? But I mean, if the first race is any sort of indicator, yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I mean, it was definitely a hit. So we'll see if it's a hit consistently over time. And Chips Never 957 with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Imagine they just make the LA Coliseum track permanent and just put AstroTurf over the top of it for stick and ball sports. Oh my god, that would hurt.
It'll be like the 90s.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly what the 90s was like for AstroTurf teams. Yeah, exactly what the 90s were like. Yeah, when you hit the turf, man, you were done. Just ask Michael Irvin about that. That was a nasty hit.
Guys with grit.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. The other White Castle with the $2 super chat. Here's to another great year of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jarrett, spin that UFO. That's awesome.
There we go.
We love
UFO. It's not in camera. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Irvin Alvarado with the $10 super chat. Formula E last season races in London with one section of track indoor with the convention center. And the rest outside. NASCAR could do something like that for an indoor/outdoor hybrid street course. They could. I mean, they would just need to find what suggestions would there be for something like that for a hybrid track?
No, I don't think that's the kind of hybrid thing NASCAR is looking at doing in the next few years. But
Tony Stewart's figure 8. That's hybrid.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Why not? And then Anter Das with another $5 super chat. Can we stop saying the Olympics are a big event no one watches? But yeah, they do. Come on, man.
Can I buy his comment back, please?
Thank you for the $5, but a lot of people still watch though.
I like the ratings were fantastic for NASCAR, and I didn't say this earlier, but the Olympics had like 10.5 million people watch.
Yeah.
So imagine if the Olympics were not on. I mean, we could have seen 5.5, 6 million people on NASCAR.
Yeah, definitely. But
they are a big deal still.
Yeah. People still
train their whole lives for this moment, man.
They got to represent the USA.
Whatever you are.
Got to represent the country, of course. Isaac with the $2 super chat. NFL sucks. NASCAR blows them in every category.
Very poor phrasing.
Lives in a fantasy world.
I want someone, whoever said that, I want them to look up like the top 100 broadcasts that came on cable in 2021.
Yeah.
And they will see that in the NFL.
How much was that when I was a $2?
That was
the NFL.
Here, keep the change.
It was like the NFL literally was every one of the top like 30 to 50 broadcasts. Like, and then the NBA Finals, I think, had one game or something in there.
Yeah.
So
look, it's coming back.
Gotta do our research.
It's coming back. We're gonna get it back
no matter what.
It's gonna come back, definitely. And well, one of my favorite names, Hot Piss, thank you for the $2 super chat. What's gonna happen to Alvin Kamara's NASCAR deal? Like, I don't know. They haven't
2 to 5 years.
Well, he knows. There you go. Yeah, but I'm not sure yet. We'll
That's pain for me, y'all, bro.
Yeah,
That's pain.
Definitely. And then Isaiah Plays with the $5 super chat. Do you guys think there's going to be a parts shortage like David Land has been talking about? He's been pissing me off talking about it. Some of y'all super chats tonight.
I love it,
bro.
I don't
It's
think it'll
not
be as bad as
Raw emotion.
Yeah,
But-
wow.
But at the same time, like, it is something to watch. But
Yeah,
again, it's not the sky is falling yet.
I don't know what
Yeah,
David
like-
said, but yeah, there is a shortage. I don't know if it's going to really affect the on-track action, but I mean,
That's what I
Gotta
was
get
gonna say.
together, man. There's a shortage of everything, bro. I was talking about the other day. There's a shortage of sugar-free Red Bulls right now. I couldn't even grab those for my wife the other night, bro. Our Funyuns.
I was gonna say the
Telling
way,
you.
just regarding the language you use, like it's not. Is there gonna be a shortage? There is a shortage. Like
Yeah.
it is a fact. But yeah, I'm not freaking out about it yet.
Yeah.
But there is. It's definitely talking to some of the team members. They are concerned about it.
Yeah.
I went to Cracker Barrel last week. They didn't have any bacon. I was
Shortage,
devastated. I
man.
know.
I'm telling you, it's
Yo.
affecting everybody.
That's
This economy's
apocalyptic.
crazy.
The Bengals
Yeah.
are in the Super Bowl, running out of bacon. This is apocalyptic times possible.
Yeah, for sure. And then Bumsturd13, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Race of the offended, delicate fans ruin sports. Okay, that was just,
Okay.
I was just a random one. Okay, well, thank you for your $2, sir. And then Lux Luke, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. S-Ben Willie, just checking in. What? I don't know what that
Hey,
means.
Willie.
Next.
Yeah,
Willie.
next one. Yeah. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry, but thank you so much for the $2 super chat. And then
I love this.
and then Dominic _ Foxy 13. Thank you so much for the $2 Canadian super chat. Rick Ware Racing also won 2 races in the Penty Series in 2021. That's right, they do race in Canada. Yeah, that's a good
That
deal.
Dodge.
Damn.
All over the map.
That's right. That's a good deal. Hey, maybe
It's
they might win
purple.
2 wins this year. You never know. We'll see. And then Mark B with the $2 super chat. Unpopular opinion, but the 2017 Daytona 500 is really good. Yeah, I think it's about a mid one to me for me personally. But yeah, they had a pretty good finish. But hey, if you think that's a good one, then hey, more power to you. Then Anter Das once again with the $5 super chat. Thanks, man. Darian, be prepared to make another worst Daytona 500 2022
God.
edition. Oh no, with the supply, or no, it gets better. With the supply chain shortage, teams will want to save their cars. My 2 cents. Hey, I mean, we did talk about
I
it
can
last
see
year.
that.
We could see that, yeah, because 2013,
Yeah.
the first year of the Gen 6, it was a boring race because they just wanted to save their cars, stay single file. But, you know, it's just funny to me that we keep talking about the parts shortage so much, you know, so early in the season, you know. But, yeah, we'll see what happens.
I think the 2017 Daytona 500 is a very underrated one. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
just because we hadn't really seen a fuel mileage one in a long time,
It was
and
also-
I thought that was interesting. You had a lot of guys run out of gas. So.
Yeah, it was also the first race with stages as well. So that's another history fact right there. The other White Castle with the $2 super chat. It was surreal to see a race with no Joe Gibbs Racing loose lugs. Yeah, it was. It was the first time. First time for everything.
Lord
right?
knows we would have found out.
Yes. And then Preston Frails with the $2 super chat. Thanks, man. 2022 is the year of William Byron and the 24. Hey, perhaps, you know. Hey, we'll see what happens. Let me update this. We are almost done, I promise. Okay, a few more. North Rails with the $2 super chat. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I'm not gonna read that. No, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm not reading that.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah, sorry,
Need
man.
to see.
It doesn't. It involves John West Townley. Let's just leave it at that. So, Groovy Goose, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Other drivers use iRacing. Ty Dillon used Wreckfest. That's a good one.
That was good.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
a
good.
good one right there. And then Nathan Nathaniel M. Thank you so much for the $1 super chat. Says nothing, but thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And hi, Claudia Baldwin with the $5 super chat. Update on Danny B. He is currently fighting LA traffic. I knew it. He would at one point.
Tell him to get in here and fight me about not having Reddick or Austin Dillon in his playoffs.
She says
I don't know. LA traffic's brutal, man. Me and Dale were like car sick in Ubers like constantly.
That sucks.
He is currently fighting LA traffic, and he feels the stress as a super speedway racer. LOL. He hates he had to miss. See y'all soon. Yes, Claudia. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. And the final one, Irvin Alvarado with the $5 super chat. Living in New Jersey / New York, we kind of had a shortage of cream cheese. so yes, supply chains shortage is a struggle. Yeah.
I feel you, bro.
More evidence for
Can't live without that cream
looming
cheese.
Apocalypse.
Oh man, no, I love.
How you gonna eat bagels, bro?
Oh, that was funny. No, it's a funny one. I love
There it is.
the
Good
meme.
job, Eric.
Oh,
honestly,
there it is! I finally see it. Oh my god,
That's kind of terrifying.
Who's in your room?
It's kind of
bro?
terrifying.
Why is it feels like a funhouse mirror, almost like it's stretched out a little
God,
bit.
that's a whole ass meme now, a whole nother meme. I've had a few memes on the show, but that's definitely the funniest. So
That's a good one.
thank you guys.
That's a
for
great
the
NFT.
screenshots. Yeah. Oh yeah, we should. Should we make it an NFT? Nah, I'm playing.
Screenshot right now.
NWP
Free
NFT.
NFTs are all around.
Yeah, free for sure.
Great
for
supply
sure.
chain.
Well, that'll do it for the super chat portion of the show. Thank you guys so much for tonight's edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. But before we go, let's go over what we have in store. Oh, actually, hold on. Before we do that, Daytona, the Daytona International Speedway's Twitter page recently uploaded a video on Twitter of a special fan who, after many, many years of being a loyal NASCAR fan, will finally get to see the Great American Race in person.
Just a girl standing next to her dad, asking NASCAR to help her out. My dad is the biggest NASCAR fan in the world. Besides being a huge fan, he's gone through a lot of trauma in his adult life and never once has complained. He's had to go through 2 brain surgeries, affected his eyesight, equilibrium, and hasn't been able to taste or smell for a decade. You will not find anyone who would be more grateful or happy than this man. Can you help me get him to the Daytona 500? The Daytona 500?
Hey Chip, you got one hell of a daughter in Michaela. We saw her TikTok that she put out, and we hope that you're free on February 20th because you are going to the Daytona 500. So, see you soon.
Isn't that amazing? Are you excited?
So that is definitely a feel-good story. After all those years of being a diehard NASCAR fan, we'll finally get to see the Great American Race. Even had the defending Cup Series champion Kyle Larson, tell him the news. I love those feel-good stories. It's always good to see. It's always good to see for sure. Okay. Yeah. So moving on. So again, that'll do it for this edition of tonight's NASCAR Weekly Podcast. But next week we have a big one lined up. Next week, join us Wednesday night, February 16th, following Daytona 500 qualifying on Eric Estep's channel. Myself, Eric, and Jarrett will be live in person together for the first time in 2022, getting our post-qualifying reactions to the Daytona 500. You don't want to miss it. So that is one. I can't wait. I always love the in-person shows. Way more energy. Way more energy being in person. We always bring the energy every single time we do the show, but in person, it's like, times 10 when it comes to that. So it'll be great to see you guys again. And are we going to have anybody else at the house, or will it just be
we
don't want to make any promises, but there might be some cameos.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, perhaps there might be some cameos for sure. But yeah. So yeah, can't wait for that. A really quick shout out and a huge thanks to the Garage Guys, both Chase and Dale, for joining tonight's edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Just any final thoughts, and also where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks so much for having us. We've enjoyed it. It's been fun. Gotten to meet you guys now at the races. Looking forward to hanging out a little bit more this year. And you can find us at Garage Guys FS everywhere. Garage Guys NASCAR podcast on YouTube, and me personally at Garage Guy Chase everywhere.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having us. This was a blast. Anytime I can sit and talk NASCAR for for a little while. It's always refreshing and fun, and especially the way you guys do it. The energy is high, and we're totally with you on the in-person stuff, man. We're excited to see you guys in person because we're the same way doing our shows in person. The energy is like times 1,000. So for me, at Dale Tanhart on every single platform, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, that's where you can find me, and NASCAR Garage Guys podcast, however you call it, whatever. But yeah, so thank you guys so much. This is an absolute blast.
Yeah, so
thank you guys for coming on.
Yes, for sure.
The chat had a good time. This was fun.
But now, before we go, one final thing. Super Bowl picks. Go Rams, by the way. Let's go. I got the Rams 27-24. Let's go. Go Rams, bro.
I think the Rams will win, but I'm going with Joe Burr. I think that would be a cool story.
I'll go with Cincinnati 27-24 in overtime. They end the season like they started.
Yeah, it'll be.
I'm gonna go Bengals 34-31. My roommate is a diehard Bengals fan. I've been watching Bengals fans with him for the last decade of my life. So Joe Shiesty's going to get it done. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and our boy Evan McPherson's going to kick a game winner.
Damn, but your friend must be on cloud nine, not to win a playoff game in 30+ years, and now all of a sudden the Super Bowl again. Man, I can't imagine. That's crazy. That's crazy.
I said earlier, it's the apocalypse, and that's what they think too, as Bengals fans.
We'll see if the Rams show up. They lost one Super Bowl in 2018. I was a bit of a shithead because I kept talking shit the entire time, and it kept annoying people. But this year, I've been calm, cool, collected, and hey, they might win the most important game that matters. So hey, we'll see what happens. But anyways, that'll do it for another edition of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time. Do we have the Dale call?
Oh, shit. Oh, geez.
Get the Dale call! Get it!
It's not my mic this year.
It ain't blowing out. Bye-bye!
Green. Holy moly. Great job! Yeah! This guy. Thank you! Wow! Hell yeah. Woo-hoo! Great job, man!
Now we got a crash. Car spinning left and right.
Buddy, let her rip. Rain like hell, baby! Come on! Oh my god, guys! Yes! Yes! Unbelievable! You guys are the best! Yes! Oh, what a year!